Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here. The game's within perhaps 5 minutes of finishing for the day's play, and it's been a very impressive day from all angles. Obviously, England have, you would argue, somewhat struggled to put on a score, and they've only been able to put on a mere 183. Having said that, though, in India now, currently none for 21, Ollie Robinson bowling to what looks like Rahul. And quite effectively, England have not scored enough runs. 183 runs is not enough, considering they batted first with the intention of doing it both Sharma and Rahul have 9 not out. It's good to see Bumrah. Bumrah certainly came back into form today with his efforts. He's taken some 4 for 46. Joe Root has to be commended for his 64. He certainly batted with a lot of commitment, and he's 64. Bairstow helped him out along with 29. Sam Curran had a pretty good cameo there with a 4 and a 6 for his 27. He's going to show some quality there to help replace Ben Stokes in the meantime. But overall, the rest of the batting was pretty shocking. Rory Burns got our first over to Bumrah, and you'd argue Zach Crawley and simply struggled all along, but they were going okay. But yeah, Dan Lawrence lasted 4 balls, and I'm still not sure what the hell he's doing on that side. Dan Lawrence, I would not, he's not going to hit. But Buckle Dutto's asking me who's joining later. It's going to be some surprises who's joining me on. This is my 627th video that I've uploaded. 427 of them have actually been recorded. But more significantly for me, guys, and I feel like celebrating, I wish I had champagne or something with me. This is my 200th live video. 200th live video. My first was Buria Majunda. I've had a number of great guests. My first was Buria Majunda. He may be on today. If he's got time, he's over in Tokyo for the Olympics. He did suggest that he may be able to make it. That would be great. So my 200th live video, and that's been since roughly January. So we're looking at roughly 6 months, and I've put together 200 live videos, which I'm going to congratulations. Thank you, my double time. Thank you, Baram Rani. And Baram Rani, we might get you to join a bit later too. We'll just see how things go. Chris Vernon said he will try to get there. He's coming home from training. He's also coaching. He's doing a lot of things. Yeah, thank you, Baram Rani. It's 200 not out. I like that. 200 not out. So we're going to continue to bat. So yeah, we'll get a few people joining. Don't worry, a bit later on. So I'm just looking at the score here. Rohit Sharma and Rahul are both 9 not out. None for 21. Considering the conditions, it's a pretty good start. England's 183 after 65.4 overs at a run rate of 2.78 is quite frankly poor, considering the effort they should have made. Now, that should put, unless the likes of Anderson, Broad, and Ollie Robinson bowl particularly, well, Sam Curran said a couple overs, he looks pretty good, but so we've got 2 minutes to go before 6:30 local time there. So, yeah, fair bit of insight. It looks like Robinson's bowling a couple of balls that are coming into the bat rather than going away. Maybe a tactic. So let's just go through the bowling. So Jasprit Bumrah was out for. Jasprit Bumrah actually bowled. He got figures of 4 for 46 off 20.4 overs, which is a magnificent spell. Mohammad Shami also kicked in with 3 for 28 off 17. Siraj bowled quite admirably there for 1 for 48. Shardul Thakur was outstanding, I thought, 2 for 41. And Jadeja held 1 in for 11 off 3. So just go quickly through the batting scores. Rory Burns got out for a duck. Dom Sibley lasted 18 runs. The day's plays just finished, by the way. It's none for 21. None for 21 with both Rahul and Rohit Sharma not at 9 each. That's pretty dang good, to be honest with you. That's a pretty good effort to last and not lose a wicket. It's impressive enough. Anderson, Broad, Robinson and Curran all bowled overs. So, yeah, Zach Crawley was out for 27. He was caught punt off Siraj, which was unfortunate. Joe Root looked pretty good for his 64. I thought it was an excellent innings considering his overall total. At one stage, I think he was well ahead on the runs for his team. Johnny Bairstow, I think he's earned his place for 29. Stan Lawrence, I'm still bewildered why he's inside. Joe Butler didn't last long either. Andy Bowl, he was both out for ducks. Ollie Robinson got out for a duck. Broad 4 and Anderson 1. Really, it's only really Curran and Bairstow that helped Root out there. Root was the, let me just confirm, Root was the, what was he there? Just checking with Root. Root was the, he fell at 155, so yeah, it was up to Curran to take on the brother of the bunny. He was not at 27. So look, you got to give some credit to Sam Curran, but the team 183 after 65.4 overs is poor. Under 3 and over 2.7, and under so you would argue that England are in the box seat. Sorry, India are in the box seat at this stage. It should be classified as India's day. No doubt about that at all. When there's Tabash is coming on the show, Bakul Dada, he has things that he has to do on his program as well. He can't do everything, but he come at one side. Bumrah only took out one man batsman, and all the others are all tailenders. Yeah, Manager, he's still got the 4 wickets, which is important. Yeah, that's right. Manager, except for Root, nobody else played well. That's true. Sam Curran had a bit of a dig. He did have a bit of a dig.
Hi, good evening. Ha! Hold on. Forgot my hat, Norman.
You must wear the hat. Seeing today is the 200th time I've gone live.
And you don't look a day older, Norman.
I look a lot older, I tell you. So look, that you'd have to classify that, Reg. We're meant to have Buri Majunda on today too, the respected Buri. Buri, and of course he was on my first live when I didn't know how to use StreamYard. It was really funny. I used StreamYard and I had, we've got things like that across the bottom. I didn't know how to work it the first time, and I had that first one permanently stuck at the bottom because I didn't know how to get it off the screen. So the whole interview, there's a caption on the bottom which I had pressed inadvertently like that. Isn't that funny? The whole episode has it on the bottom. It actually looks like I'm advertising StreamYard. It was a StreamYard comment.
I'd like to say, Norman, what a fantastic day for India. They played brilliant all day. England played pretty shabby, and they deserve to be in the position they are. England have been massively disappointed not to have taken what I would suspect 2 wickets this evening in that last hour of play. But it's testament to how well India batted, and England didn't bowl very well. The stats would tell you that India pitched it up, as we discussed, if you remember, and England's bowlers didn't pitch it up. Well, Robinson and Curran. Curran got 1 bloody over, Norman. I don't get it. He's a left.
Yeah, he looked good that over too. He did trouble.
He's one of those cricketers who makes things happen. Look, I would have given him maybe 2 overs with a new ball. Keep Broad waiting, get Broad annoyed, but give Curran, see what happens. Just if he doesn't do it in 2 overs, it doesn't do much. You whip him off. But he's one of those.
He had 2 to 4 to 6 in his batting performance too, so he can't be underplayed when he played.
It was one hell of a 6 he hit. You probably didn't see it. It was.
What happened?
He walked down the wicket and smacked it over sort of wide long on for 6. He's just one of those. He's a cricketer who empties bars, as they used to say, isn't he?
Well, he could well become another Ben. I'm not saying he's going to become another Ben Stokes, but he's certainly got the capability of turning into something like that.
He's only young, He's 22 years old. He's not like in his mid-20s. He's got a lot to come.
But I told you, Dan Lawrence was very disappointing. Butler was too.
Norman, we've all been there. He got strangled down the leg side. It wasn't as though he played a particularly bad shot. It just got caught down the leg side.
He got a duck. He got a duck.
I know, and he wouldn't be in my team. I mean, I don't think he would necessarily have played had Stokes been fit and had Pope been fit. I don't think he would have been in.
Johnny Bairstow showed what I would call his class because he did bat quite admirably.
Nicely. Yeah, he batted nicely. That was a terrible time to lose the wicket, though, wasn't it? You lose the wicket literally on tee. It was. They walked off for tee.
But you must say, when he and Bairstow were here root together, it was in a pretty reasonable shape.
Yes, but the sun came out and it didn't do so much after lunch, as we were discussing. you know, and then all of a sudden after tea, lights came on, cloud came over. Oh, God, the Indians bowled well. It was swinging all over the place. It was great to watch.
There's a lot to say. That Bumrah took 4 wickets. There was one comment we had already saying that he took 3 tailenders. That's not relevant. He bowled well.
Look, whoever's saying that has got no idea what he's talking about, Norman. He bowled brilliantly with the new ball. He bowled well when he came back, and then he mopped up the tail with some absolute jaffers. Ian Botham, Norman, I know we're going back to Alan Mullally's golden days of cricket here. They used to say, oh, he just mops up the tail. Well, he did. He used to mop up the tail. It was brilliant watching Botham bowl against the tail.
I think that's more important than people give credit to, really.
Absolutely. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. He was brilliant.
They could have easily dawdled around and scored well over 200.
Well, the last wicket put on 23 or 4, I think, thanks to Curran. But no, Bumrah. God, don't disrespect the guy because he can mop the tail up. Bloody hell.
Well, the whole Indian bowling lineup, quite frankly, did well. Shardul Thakur was very admirable. Even Siraj was reasonably good. But Shami and Bumrah, outstanding, 7 wickets between them. Look, 183 is below par. And the way that India's...
Yeah, I would have thought that 300 would be a good score. 230, 240 wouldn't be a disaster. But Norman, there's an old maxim in cricket, isn't there? You never know how good a score is until both sides have batted.
That's true.
I mean, India tomorrow could be 300 for 4 at the end of the day. They could be 200 for 8. Who knows? Let's wait and see. It's going to do.
Although none for 21,
they batted really well.
The potential, they batted well.
I mean,
and look, KL Rahul looks like he's been...
weren't there? There were. I mean, you watched it. There was probably half a dozen at least plays and misses. They could have snicked one. They didn't. Tomorrow morning, you come out, you snick one. You know, it's cricket. That's the game.
But KL Rahul is a good selection because he has a lot of experience at Test level, and he's fitted in quite nicely. And he's
reluctant though to open, isn't he? I was hearing from Indian commentators that he's a reluctant opener now. He would rather back down the order a bit. So, but he stepped up when his country wanted him, and good luck to him.
To take a place in his national side, I think he'd be happy to open. Cheers. He'd be happy to open. What have you got there? What's that drink?
That is rum and coke, Norman. I've got to say, I make I buy cheap rum and I mix some spices and flavors into it, and I like a sort of gingery rum and coke. Right. So I apologise for drinking on air. That's not very professional.
I normally like if I'm gonna have alcohol, it's gonna be bourbon and coke, mate. All right, so it's India dominated the day, that's for sure. There's a big tick for that. So we're looking at Chandra. So tomorrow wouldn't be easy for India as well. Dense cloud cover, strong winds predicted. That'll help the reverse swing, especially. And it could be
the reason Root batted, I think, because bear in mind he didn't pick a spinner. If you're not going to pick a spinner and you're going to bat first, there must be good reason. And I think the reason was because today's weather forecast is the best forecast of the 5 days. Yeah. So I think he was taking a punt because let's face it, if we'd bowled today first, it could have been India could have been 200 all out at the end of the day. Who knows? It was, but they bowled well. Norman
183 for England and none for 21 for India. India are in front. There's no doubt about that.
They're definitely in front. Absolutely, they bowled brilliantly and they got their team selection right. We've talked about this about the World Championship final. They got it wrong today. Jadeja bowled 3 exploratory overs, did absolutely nothing with it, got taken off. If they'd picked the 2 spinners or only 3 seamers, I tell you now, they wouldn't have bowled England out for 180 because those three seamers would have had to have kept bowling in rotation like they did against New Zealand. And they get tired. Of course they get tired. Whereas they were allowed to have a rest today. Kohli was allowed to rest them and then they came back, you know?
I'll tell you what. just quickly. So Baran is asking, where's your rum from? What cheap rum?
I buy Tesco's own cheap non-branded rum, and then I put ginger and allspice berries in it, and I let it ferment for 5 days, and then I drain it out the it's very. I like it very much.
Yeah, but this is really important. Okay, this one here. Yes, Australia lost again. Australia got
Oh
beaten
no, I didn't notice that. Did Australia
against
get pumped again
Bangladesh
by Bangladesh? Good side
again.
that Bangladesh, Norman. Fantastic.
So Bangladesh, Australia got, this isn't a 20 over match, 7 for 121.
Yeah.
The previous innings they got 108. Bangladesh 5 for 2, 5 for 123 with almost 2 overs to spare. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I
Oh my
wonder
God.
whether Stark isn't really a 20 over bowler. I like Stark. I think he's a fantastic bowler, but he tends to go. I think he went for nines today. He is a bit attacking, isn't he, for 2020 cricket?
Actually, let's not look at the bowling for a minute. It's not the game's results don't show me bowling problems. It's more batting problems.
Well,
108
I don't like the
and
middle order at
121.
all. I don't like the middle order at all. Australia have got
Matthew Wade should not be captain of that team. For
no, it
starters,
should be Finch, shouldn't it? Aaron Finch should be captain, shouldn't he?
well, he's injured at the moment.
In all forms.
Well, yes, but Alex Carey, the issue with it that I can't understand, Alex Carey was given the captaincy of the ODI team and is playing in this T20 match. Why wouldn't you give him the captaincy of this as well?
Seems very strange.
Explain it to me.
I know. Yeah, I find it strange to give them captaincy just in West Indies, and he comes and wait. Maybe they're just having a look at a couple and see how they go. Norman, I don't know. Good morning, Norman.
I
3:45 a.m.
It's actually 3:43 a.m. in the morning. 3:43 a.m. It's not just early. It's the horrible time of the day. 3:43 is neither morning nor night anymore. It's in this middle zone. The reality is, I'm there. You know why I'm there, guys? Because this is my 200th. This is my 200th show, my 200th live show, my 627th video, but 200th live. Now, I want all you viewers to understand the dedication that I'm putting in, and I want you to reward me by subscribing. If anyone's on the floor today watching this, and there may be a few of you, please subscribe, because I'm dedicated to helping you get the scores as they come along. And at 3:43 a.m. in Australian time, I woke up and I want to make sure that I'm here. So 3:43 a.m. I'm here. Okay.
And 3:43 a.m. Norman, you're normally on your second bottle of wine and schmoozing a beautiful young lady, aren't you? I mean, let's face it.
No, not quite.
No, I don't believe we all know that you are a bit of a player.
We were rewarded today with some 6,000 people watching the pre-show, which is pretty damn good.
Which is good. They all turned off when I came on, I think.
No. Don't get too carried away. We did have. Did you check it 1 hour? I think it was 1 hour 32 minutes 28 seconds, something like that. When the Barmy Army came on live from the ground, did you see that?
I did. I looked back on it. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It's great. It's what you want. It's great atmosphere, isn't it? And it's great. And the wicket went down, didn't it?
It was hilarious.
It was brilliant.
A hilarious moment, actually.
Do you know, the only good thing about it being 3:45 in the morning there is that Aparna isn't here to give me a load of grief about how good India were today.
Has she sent you a message, has she?
Well, no, but I bet no, she hasn't. But I'm guaranteeing that she was on. She'd be giving me plenty.
Well, she wasn't. She wasn't up. She was up about 15 minutes ago. So I'm not sure whether she might be here. I'll just see whether no. I
want to see some of these messages coming through. I can't see many messages saying how well India did. Come on, guys. That's guys. What do I think of Siraj today? Did anyone notice the continuous wobble seam deliveries by him? Guess why couldn't use a seam? Siraj bowled well. Don't give me that. I mean, Shami's seam position was fantastic. But Siraj,
the Indian bowlers bowled well as a unit.
Yeah,
that's what I think was important.
Get out. He got Crawley out, didn't he? I think he got Crawley. I think it was the second wicket. Big wicket. I mean, England have weathered the storm, hadn't they, Norm? We were on, I think, at the time, weren't we? And it was beating the bat and it was swinging around, but we'd only lost one wicket. And Crawley did pretty well, actually. He's only a kid, isn't he, Crawley? He's only, 24?
Crawley... The batsman out of the team that I think, Rory Burns got out cheaply, yes, but the batsman that has to be under heavy pressure as Lawrence. He shouldn't be there. I
Well,
keep saying that.
Sibley's got to go, hasn't he? Really, they'll give him second innings here. They might give him second test. But the problem is when you look so bad as a batsman, if you don't back it up with Scott, you can look terrible and get loads of runs.
Yeah.
I mean, who used to? Oh, Graham Smith used to. He was not a pretty bloke to watch, was he, Graham Smith?
No.
But
geez, he scored a lot of runs.
Bloody hell, yeah. So you can forgive him. You can forgive him. How terrible. Hashim Amla wasn't a particularly good-looking batsman at times. But if Sibley's going to look that bad, play that limited amount of shots, and let's face it, he can't score a run on the offside generally. And if he can't back that up with any runs, he can get dropped because it compounds the felony, if you like.
So how does a batsman like that get to the side in the first place?
Well, he scored rate of runs. I mean, he scored a load of runs.
Well, Sibley and Lawrence have got to go from that side. I'm sorry, and Hamid's got to be given a go, and they've got to get. They've got to put a better
on the rank, isn't he? He's. They brought. We discussed him, didn't we? A lot earlier in the season, and I said to you, they like him. They brought him straight back into the fold when he started scoring some runs. Bear in mind, he lost his contract with Lancashire. They just let him go. He completely. He averaged in 18 games in 2018 Championship first class games. He averaged 9. Norman, 9. That's how bad it had gone for him. He changed counties as soon as he started getting some runs at the start of this summer. And bear in mind, this was April. England brought him straight back into the fold, if you like, the squad. He wasn't going to play, but they brought him straight back into the England
okay, now under the system where Ashley Giles has implemented that there's no chairman of selectors, and they've got these so-called scouts. I think Simon Willis is one of those scouts. The scouts that are going around, how are they judging form? I mean, is it Silverwood himself?
They're not playing any red ball cricket at the moment at all. No, our season is very strange. Butler hasn't played a red ball game, and Bairstow hasn't played a red ball game since India. Butler hasn't played at all. So the way we've structured our summer has not helped our test team in any way, shape, or form. But I'm not going to give an excuse because that Indian bowling side today, that 80 overs, or they didn't bowl at 80 overs, 65 overs, would have sorted out every team in world cricket. I'm telling you, in English conditions, on that, they would have sorted everyone out. They were too good.
I must laugh at this comment. Sorry, the Michael Vaughan's a bit sad, I reckon. But this is my favourite. He said Australia should play Nepal and Kenya to get back to winning ways. I think they might lose against them. And look, if Australia had to qualify for the World Cup now, they've just been beaten by Bangladesh, who haven't qualified yet, by the way, who have not qualified for the World Cup yet.
Well, these are good points for them then, aren't they? If they, in the 2020 World Cup, if they haven't qualified Bangladesh, this will help them, won't it?
Well, they should be. I mean, Australia, not. But look, we can't say, it's difficult conditions. Australia aren't fully strength. Blah blah blah. They're playing Bangladesh.
Yeah, but they
come
come from the West Indies, Norman. They come from the West Indies on hard, bouncy tracks straight to Bangladesh, which I'm going to guess. I haven't seen any of it. I'm going to guess they're not hard, bouncy tracks.
I don't care. It's rubbish. This is an Australian side. You adjust.
You're being harsh.
They've lost both games against Bangladesh. They've never lost to Bangladesh. Then they've lost twice.
You're being harsh. I'd like to make a comment on the Michael Vaughan. I know he's very unpopular with our Indian fans. Okay. Right. What the press tend to do is they tend to pick out a sound bite all the time. They take a little tiny nugget of what someone says. Michael Vaughan does a great podcast called Tuppers and Vaughan. You can download. Everyone gets podcasts around the world.
I was on Tuppers and Vaughan.
Well, yeah, but
you know that.
I listened to their show.
I'm talking about 8 years ago.
Yeah, I listened to their show on Monday. They just did one this Monday. Came out 2 days ago. Very good, very interesting. Michael Vaughan talked a lot of sense, and he doesn't do down the Indian side at all. He talked a lot of sense. In fact, I think
he has fun. He knows he has some fun. That's what he does.
But I think he pretty much predicted the starting 11 that India went with. I think, although no one predicted Ashwin to be left out, I don't think that was.
Barambarani's not Bangladeshi. He's actually Indian. He's in India. He's living in the Philippines. Was living in Singapore. So He's been on business.
Did he do the business today? Sorry, who's that? Who's Brahma Barman?
Right. He was on the show after. He was on the show in the pre-match before.
Yeah, they have on the Sky commentary team. Oh, sorry, on the Test Match Special commentary team is our radio coverage. Everyone, Test Match Special, it's famous. They've got Deep Das Gupta on, Norman.
I know. Deep's been on my show.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah, and so he's on the radio for the summer. He's over here for the summer, so he's
a very good commentator. Excellent commentator.
Excellent. What you want as a commentator, I think, you want your own countrymen to be impartial but slightly biased to your own side. Slightly. Just supporting your home team. And then you have your overseas guy who comes in, and you want them to be impartial but a slight bias to their side. But nothing. I mean, if they're going to talk nonsense, it's no good. But the same with our commentary. I just want it to be. I want to give an honest portrayal, And the Sky commentary team weren't very happy with England today. I can tell you that much.
This is interesting. Now, Gareth Banker wants Coley to resign. Rubbish. If he can't be, he has been captain for 61 matches. His winning rate is 59%. It's better than anyone's. Okay,
he's not going to resign. That's for sure.
Vaughan told Quick Buzz that India will win the series 3-1. I said 3-2.
I think he did. He predicted an Indian win on his podcast the other night. I think they will. We've only had one day. Let's get that right. Let's not go overboard. England were poor, but India were brilliant. Now,
there's something, but hang on. Before you get into the poor or brilliant scenario, the selections of KL Rahul, Shardul Thakur, and Mohammad Siraj are the reason for this team being better.
Hold on, Norman. KL Rahul, they had no choice, really, did they? There was.
Yeah, but he should have been there a lot earlier in this. He has a lot of experience.
Yeah, but they were always going to go with Rahul, so that was not really. I don't think that was a major selection coup.
No, but they're going to realise how important he is through this series.
I think the rest. Then they had to decide between Ashwin and Jadeja, and we'll see how that works. But Thakur, but we talked about they had to play 4 seamers, didn't we? We talked about they couldn't go with 2 spinners. It would have been daft. They've
listened. They've listened. They've listened. They've learned.
They've listened, and they didn't announce their side 2 days in advance. They waited. They looked at the pitch. They saw that there was grass on it, which is often the way. They looked up at the skies and looked at the weather, and they thought, we need 4 seamers. And they were right. They got their selection right. So far.
But you know what? You'd have to argue, and in all fairness now, and even though New Zealand deserved to win that World Test Championship, you'd have to argue, had they played the World Test Championship perhaps now, based on a bit of time in England, they may have been a different result.
Well, they got it wrong, Norman. It's my view. They were. I think that whoever was behind their decision to come over earlier in the summer, whatever the thought patterns, whether that's down to the coach, Ravi Shastri, isn't it? Sorry.
I mean, I love this. Harsh Gupta says, "Why don't you collab with the Extra Time?" I've done that for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Haven't you been watching Harsh Gupta? I was doing Extra Time work for months. And we do often collaborate. Okay.
There's a question by Bakul Dada. Hello, Bakul. Nice to see you. I hope you've subscribed. What's the main area or opinion of difference between me and Chris on cricket?
That's actually a great question.
And
that is a great question. Let's hear it.
I would say generally we would agree on a lot of things. Bear in mind, he grew up watching me play brilliantly. I mean, week in, week out, he came and watched me bash it everywhere.
Gee, that must have been when he was about 2 weeks old or something, wasn't it?
I've been watching him play since he was 7, and he was better at 7.
I hope bloody so you were his father, for God's sake.
I used to not miss a game. I used to take him around everywhere, all over the country. Watching them play, and he was pretty tasty as a junior growing up, and he's pretty tasty now, really. I will think about we do disagree on things, and I'll have a think. There certainly in selection and things. We'll have a think. I'll think about that. I'll come back with that, Baku. But yeah, that's
a great comment from Baram Marani. He probably watched you play when he was in the womb because he had no choice.
Oh, by the way, Norman, 15 Test hundreds, is that a good goal, do you think, for a player? 15 Test hundreds?
Absolutely.
You reckon that would put you in a pretty decent category, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, Alex Stewart, you idiot. Alex Stewart, who you reckon was rubbish. 8,400 runs, 15
after 738 Test matches. And most importantly, his father kept giving him a Guernsey after he got ducks.
And he still scored 15 Test hundreds, Norman.
Just like Sutherland put Will and
I refuse for you to disrespect Alex Stewart. He was a proper player.
I'm just stating fact though. His dad was the chairman of selectors. Is that fact?
For a period of time, but he not.
Sorry. I didn't ask that question. I asked you, was Alex Stewart's dad the chairman of selectors when he was playing? Yes or no? Just answer my question. Yes or no?
I can't answer you.
Yes is the answer.
When Stewart was
yes is the answer.
Mickey Stewart was chairman.
If your dad's the chairman of selectors when you're
only
playing,
for the first couple of years.
It's as a cloud of uncertainty.
I think David Gravely might have been chairman of selectors during the latter part of Stewart's career. Stewart played to 2002, I think.
Yeah, but he had no choice then because Stewart's dad was over his shoulder. Stewart's dad was over his shoulder saying, "Hey, hey, that guy's selected, or else."
So where do you put Michael Vaughan? I think he scored 0 hundreds. Well, that's not true. Michael Vaughan was a pretty decent player. In fact, I think Michael Vaughan's absolute zenith was down in Australia. Didn't he score in an Ashes series down in Australia? A double. I think he got 790 runs, give or take, in the series.
I think he loved playing against Australia, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He loved playing against Australia.
And I've got to say to Beram, and it's good to see him, he's a good guy. I saw him on your show, Norman, I was watching, that Michael Vaughan captained England in what will be thought of in our country as the greatest ever Ashes series. And it'll be difficult to argue it wasn't the greatest series of all time. I know India, Australia was pretty good last winter, but that 2005 series against Australia over here, crikey, there were some nail-biting games. There were, honestly, one was won by 3 wickets, one was won by 2 runs, wasn't it? 2 runs. Oh, jeez, it was a brilliant series, and Michael Vaughan was the captain. So public always remember, who's in great sporting occasions, they'll remember the players and the participants, won't they?
No doubt. I mean, look, the period I've seen Michael Vaughan talk about his. And I've also been stuck in a lift with Michael Vaughan for an hour and a half, as I told you.
He's a good guy, isn't he? He's all right, I would imagine.
He's all right. He was a little bit uppity in that lift, though. He was starting to get quite frayed. In that lift.
If I was stuck in a lift with you, Norman, I'm thinking there wasn't a lot of room.
Well, Dane Martin was also in the lift. Also, Jonathan Norman from Sky Sports was in there, and about 2 or 3 catering staff. It was quite full. And we're talking about an igloo. We're talking about the old toilet igloos. Yeah. Right? That it was like that.
Did you lie on the ground and let everyone lie on top of you for a bit of comfort?
No. You'll see some great photos of me. We put a microphone through the door to open it up. It's quite funny. And we were stuck there well and truly. They made a right old mess of that. They made a right old mess of that, Lords. I'm afraid you stuffed up with your bloody lifts at the JP Morgan Media Centre in July of 2013. I'll tell you. It
got you on Tuppers and Vaughan, though, Norman.
What?
It got you on the Tuppers and Vaughan show.
Yeah, did I tell you how that happened, though? I've just played at Lord Vestey's ground. All right, Lord Vestey, of course, you know who he is. He's now passed on. So I played at his own private ground at Stowell Park. We just finished the match for their CG11 against his team. We were in the bus. I'm sitting towards the front, and I get a phone call, and I'm live to air on BBC Sport on that. And I've got the entire touring group on the bus pulling my ear, pretending I had microphones. I had Michael Reagan, who happens to be the mayor of Northern Beaches here in Australia. He's a mayor. He's there being a real jerk off with his pretend microphone. People pulling me on the ear. I had ex Australian rugby union players pulling me on my face and mucking around, and I had a multi-squillionaire guy that owns about 100. They're all while I'm live to wear. I'll never forget that moment.
Norman, there's a comment from Amity999 on the screen, not about Sankar and the one before that. I'd like to address that.
Which
if
one?
you can. If you can put that up. I don't know if you can. Amity999. Right. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this pitch. It wasn't the pitch that was doing anything. It was in the air. It was swinging. A little bit of seam, but you're going to get seam in England. That pitch looked an absolute belter. And there's nothing to suggest that won't last 5 days. In fact, what is a 5-day pitch? I'll tell you what we try. I'll tell you what we try and get here. First morning, it's usually hard. Easier after lunch on the first day. Days 2 and 3, pretty good for batting. Day 4, it will start to break up and turn a little bit usually. And day 5, you're hoping it's going to start spinning big time. Now, that's what we try and perform. And if they don't leave a bit of grass on it in this country, it'll just break up too early and it won't be any good. You need to leave a bit of grass covering. And then by the end of day 3, going into the start of day 4, you're hoping that it's starting to wear. There's some scuff marks and the spinners come into the game. And that's the perfect wicket, isn't it? If a game finishes in the 3rd session of day 4 or into day 5, then it's been a pretty decent test match, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, so this was a 5-day pitch. There was nothing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the pitch.
There was no puffs of dust coming up, was there? There was no chunks coming out of it. I mean,
let's not talk about pitches anymore. The pitches is
20 minutes into that pitch in India, it was disintegrating in the winter. I mean, you can't play on that. This was swing.
Well, but don't forget, no matter what wicket really is there, whether it's not bouncing,
both sides have to play on it.
Both sides have to play on it. So
I agree. Today, it wasn't about the pitch, Norman. It was about quality bowling. You don't get that wrong. It was about quality bowling.
They've learned a lot, the Indians. They've learned a lot from that World Test Championship match. They
watched this show, Norman. We said, pitch it up. You've got to pitch it up in England.
Exactly. England is certainly
well. Shami got it up there. He swung it. He bowled well, didn't he? He's a good performer. I like Shami.
Oh, I love it.
I like bowlers who wear their hearts on their sleeve, who you can see are absolutely busting a gut. Shami, you can see it every ball. I mean, he's not all right. He's not going to be seen as one of the all-time great bowlers. He's just not, I guess. But I'll tell you what, he tries his absolute guts out, doesn't he? Every time.
And don't forget, he's come back from breaking his arm in the Test series against Australia.
He's had a hard road. Someone like that, don't they? Every captain.
People don't actually give it. He broke his arm batting. It's pretty hard to do, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, there was who did that? Got one on the arm when he played one Test for England. Got Malcolm Marshall or someone, and that was it. He was done. Was it Chris Terry or someone like that? Or we're going back to Alan Mullally's days. Before Alan Mullally. We're going back.
The worst one that I've ever seen was Rick McCosker when he broke his jaw and he actually went to bat like that was amazing. Okay, I'm getting asked about my profession. I worked for the federal government for 36 years. I was in the tax office, the Australian Taxation Office. I was in the federal government, so that's where I was.
You don't come over as that boring, Norman. I mean, you come over as quite cheerful and funny. So
funny. Oh, look at this man here.
Gil, how are you, sir?
Gil, he's gloating.
Look at that
He's
smile.
gloating.
What? Why, Gil? Why the smile?
You know the reason. The tail didn't wag, no drop catches, and then the openers bat out the day. I had to rub my eyes after the day got over. That did it really happen?
Have you ever seen an Indian side bowl better than that?
Yes. It's not that they haven't bowled better than this.
Away from home? Home?
Yeah.
Well, they were brilliant today.
I think the way they bowled in Melbourne on the first day was a better effort because it was because there were much easier conditions to bat than today. So of course they've bowled better away from home. Even if you look at the performance in Trent Bridge the last time where they got England all out for 160. So they've bowled better than this. But I'm surprised today because they did it without the likes of Ishant and Ashwin. I thought Ishan missing out was a huge miss, but credit to Shami and Bumrah, they didn't really give anything away to England, and I think that was a great effort.
Yeah.
And Gil, just quickly, Gil, in terms of the bowling of Siraj, he deserved his place, didn't he? He bowled well.
No, I thought he was expensive. He went for 4 runs and over, but
his job's to take wickets, though. I think that was his job.
Only took 1, but I think he'll do better in the second innings. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was playing his first Test match in England. It's always difficult to get the length right straight away. So I have no doubt in my mind that he'll get better when India come on to bowl in the second innings.
I'm a bit upset about this comment.
What's the comment from Explore? Yeah, what's that? What have you said? I didn't knock
New Zealand. I said that had India played the World Test Championship later, they may have actually won. It wasn't knocking New Zealand. I actually gave credit to New Zealand. I said to New Zealand deserved the victory. So if Explore the Internet was actually bloody well listening with his ears, he would have heard me say that New Zealand deserved to win. I said that.
I think if Explore the Internet watches back on our past shows, Norman, we've discussed it at length, that game, and the best side won. With the best side won.
And I actually said in the earlier part, if he goes back and listens, I said New Zealand. I'm not saying New Zealand didn't deserve to win. I said if India had played later, they may have well won.
If Indians' preparation,
so I didn't knock New Zealand off. And Explore the Internet needs to keep exploring the internet. Right?
No, it's good to have him commenting. It's good to have him here, Norman. I hope he's
subscribed. I wasn't done with it.
Keep giving us stick, guys. We're here to take it.
And I'll give it straight back.
Hey, Naresh, how are you, fella?
Hey,
what a day!
I'm good.
What a day! Yeah. Look at Gil's smile. Look at that.
Actually, I joined to talk about what's going on with Australia. They lost to Bangladesh again.
We've already had a good chat.
Hang on, my knob has not gone quickly. Naresh, this is not Australia versus. No, my thing doesn't say debrief Australia Bangladesh, Naresh. It talks about India versus bloody England. So what are you talking about?
I'm keeping the eyes on cricket. I'm keeping all eyes on cricket, Norman.
Just to add something on Australia. They've been playing such bad cricket that Norman has not only grown a beard, his beard has turned white. That's how bad they've been playing. Okay, he's so worried about them, that he's not only grown a beard, the beard's gone white. You can clearly see the stress.
I'm just going to take a photograph of this moment because I'm going to record what palookas are out there in the Indian public that are trying to bag Australia. How dare you do that? We're the champions. Well, we're not.
Okay, I'll tell you why the Indians enjoy Australia getting smashed a lot. See, from the period of 1999 to 2007, I'd say.
Hang on. Let's go to the hockey men's. India out.
We're still in contention tomorrow to get a bronze.
Yeah, the Indian women beat Australian women.
Yeah, we feel sorry for you, so we let you win.
India have had a good hockey tournament, haven't they?
What about the medal tally? Where are you, 164th or something?
Yeah, but Norman, in the pre-show today, you told me that Australia were ahead of England or Britain in the medals table. Gloat, gloat, gloat. And what's the real reality of that, Norman? Because I sent you a picture.
How many people do you have in England? 300 million. Australia's got 20 million. We've got as many medals. We're coming 4th or 5th in the world.
We're a pretty small country.
India's got 1.5 squillion people, and they can't win a gold medal.
But we have enough gold in the country. We have enough gold in the country. We don't need a medal.
Good games, I think. I think India have good games. It's good to see. It's good to see it. I think they're playing. Is it the Indian ladies playing our ladies for bronze? Is that?
Yeah, not tomorrow. Day after for bronze.
That'll be good. Our hockey team's pretty good. I mean, we came against the Dutch, who are streets ahead as well. Number one, it's the luck of the draw sometimes. So you get, isn't it, in these competitions?
Yeah, are you implying that England would have got the gold medal?
No, we would have lost to Holland. But I'm saying it's a shame we didn't play Holland until the final.
Netherlands. So I watched quite a lot of games. I think Netherlands will beat Argentina comfortably in the women's hockey tournament. But it's going to be close between Belgium and Australia. Belgium's been very good.
Belgium's got no hope. Australia's going to kill them.
Sorry?
Australia smacked Germany, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think I think it's going to be a close one because Belgium is very lethal with the penalty corners. They convert anything that comes their way. Out of the 8 goals that they've scored, last 8 goals, 6 of them have been through penalty corners. Even the 7th would have been had it not been a penalty stroke.
What's the most famous thing from Belgium? Do you know what the most famous thing from Belgium is?
Chocolate.
No, except for that.
Beer.
Mon Le Pen, the little boy who pisses in the middle of the centre of Brussels. Little statue. That's what they're famous for. Australia's going to smash.
I was in Brussels.
Gil, Australia's going to smash Belgium.
Might happen, but it's Australia might win, but I don't think they'll smash Belgium. I think it will be a close game.
They beat Germany pretty comprehensively. Anyway,
yeah.
What's the goal medal tally? We've got 15 goal. You got 15 goal, England.
I think we're 1 ahead of you in the golds and about 12 ahead of you in the overall medals. I think something like that. It's been good games for the Brits. They've done pretty well, haven't they?
All right.
Sailing
is a Zimbabwean, but he's actually playing.
It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. How we discussed this again on an earlier show. How do you judge where someone comes from? Sam Curran has been living in this country since he was 2 years old. He's grown up here. His father played county cricket here. He lived here. He's been with Surrey since he was under 9 or something. Are you telling me that he can't qualify and play for England? I don't get it. All right. He's not.
Let's get back to. Okay,
I'll talk since he was 21 and at 23 he's playing for England. I don't like that at all. But if you were grown up here, even if your parents come from somewhere else, if you grow up in a country, then I think you've every right. That would be the same in India, wouldn't it, guys? If someone has lived there since they were a baby, they would be qualified to play for India, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they would be qualified to get a citizenship, and if that happens, then you automatically qualify to do what any other Indian would. So,
yeah.
Actually, has there been
not a good example?
Gil and Naresh, has there been a player that's played for India that was not born in India but was born, say, in a so-called Anglo-Saxon country? I'll call it. That's played for India.
Robin Singh wasn't born in India. Robin Singh was born in West Indies. I'm not sure of which country, but Robin Singh was born in India.
Yeah.
The lady cricketer who's doing really well in our 100, Rodriguez. That doesn't sound like an Indian name, but she's
she's Christian. There's a lot of Christian population in India as well.
Goan actually Portuguese. Yeah, Goan Portuguese. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was She was born in India, was she? She's got a very un-Indian name, Jemima Rodriguez. It sounds like she's not Indian, doesn't it?
But I mean, a large number of the Sri Lankan players have names like De Silva, which is Portuguese. Yeah. There's a lot of very, like Angelo Matthews, for example, very British name. The reality is that in Goa, as you described, and definitely Sri Lanka with both Dutch and Portuguese influence, a lot of names of that derivation there. It looks like the Dutch and Portuguese had a lot of fun when they travelled through India and Sri Lanka. I think they were running amok when they were there, having lots of fun.
I mean, England, we are a multicultural country. I mean, and thank God for that. And I
thought you were South African, actually, because most of your players are South African.
Well, we have to embrace it because we've got an untapped resource with our Indian community in this country. I mean, it's getting them into the cricket in counties like areas of countries like Birmingham. We've got a massive Indian population here, and that's an Indian population that were born here, born in the country, and we've just got to tap that resource. They're coming through slowly, but there's so much more, and it adds such a great dimension to our cricket.
Okay, just quickly, Hamid, what nationality is Hamid?
Well, I would imagine he comes from. I imagine it's a Pakistani background, is it? I don't know.
Hamid is Pakistani. Yeah.
Is it? It's something like that. Do you know what? I don't know.
I want to move back to the game.
I'm sure he's born in the
country. I want to move back to the game for a minute. My last point about nationalities in Australia, we have not been very good to subcontinent nationalities. Namely, Usman Khawaja was given a lot of flack during his play, very unfairly. And Jason Sangha should be in the Australian side as captain. Okay, let's go. So Hamid's got Indian background, someone's saying. Hamid is from Gujarat originally. So, all right.
Okay.
But I think he
Gil.
was born here. I think parentage might be in Gujarat.
Right.
But it's the same argument, isn't it? He's great. We welcome everyone.
No,
We
I'm
want
not saying you don't.
everyone
You
to
do.
be part of our culture. It's a fantastic. You ever come to England? It's fantastic,
Yeah.
isn't it? Looking at all
Especially if you're a
the
South African cricketer, you can come anytime. Is that right?
You had Kepler Vessels, you idiot. He played for South Africa, then he played for Australia, then he played for South
No,
Africa.
he played for Australia first, then he played for South Africa.
I mean, come on, you can't give me stick. Kepler Vessels.
Gil, stop looking down. I want you to tell me what you're.
Yeah, Gil, I don't know, you'd be cross with you for looking down.
No.
I'll tell you off.
Gil, what is your summation on the day, Gil?
Like I said, it's the perfect start to any series. There hasn't been a single drop catch, the tail didn't wag, and the openers played out of the day. When England were 139 for 5, I was like, if England can be restricted to 225, it would be great, because Indian bowlers do have a history of letting the tail wag quite a lot. And with Sam Curran coming in, who was the man of the series in the last tour when India had came to England in 2018, and also he was showing it today that he was trying really hard to take England beyond 200. I thought, for India to restrict England under 200 was a great effort, especially getting those last 5 wickets out for under 44. And there's just one thing that someone like Ravindra Jadeja can learn from Sam Curran is how to bat with the tail, because Sam Curran was not, was farming the strike, going after the bowling, which is something Ravindra Jadeja doesn't do. So a great day overall, and hopefully India can make use of it tomorrow, because someone like Stuart Broad has a great record in Trent Bridge. He's taken 8 for 15 versus Australia. He's taken a hat trick against India, though it was 10 years ago, and he has an average of 21 at Trent Bridge. So it's going to be very crucial on how India bat out tomorrow, especially the first session.
There's something refreshing
about a few names there.
Curran play, isn't there, Gil?
Sorry?
There's something refreshing about watching Curran in the Test match arena. He's just you just want to watch him, don't you? There's something about him.
More than the skill, I am a fan of his temperament. The amount of clarity and maturity he has just at 23. It's amazing. A lot of players who've, like, I just mentioned someone like Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja made his Test debut for India back in 2012. It's been 9 years that he's been playing Test cricket for India. But you ask anyone, if you have to bat with the tail, who will you pick to bat with the tail? Whether it would be a Sam Curran or a Ravindra Jadeja. Almost everyone will pick a Sam Curran. Just the amount of clarity that he has in what he wants to do. The one over that he bowled today, he was right on the money. There was not a single looser delivery. He mixed it up quite well, took the ball away from KL Rahul, induced a fall shot, got him to drive, and then brought back a foolish delivery back in. Thankfully, KL was prepared for it, else he could have very well had the wicket in his very first over. So just the mental aspect of his game is something that you have to appreciate a lot.
Yeah. So Amity 999 is going through all of his records on who's not. Ravi Papara was Indian, he said. Hashim Amla was Indian, he said. Nasser Hussain was Indian. There's quite a few, you're right.
Yeah, we've spoken about this. The Owen Morgan
we have.
The comments nonsense. Owen Morgan is not classed as not British to play for England. That wasn't ever an issue. That Ireland at the time weren't a Test playing nation. Owen Morgan, Kevin Peterson, I agree, but he served his qualification period. If that's the rules, I don't understand. Peterson qualified to play for England. And he played
Monty Panesar, we know, had Indian background. Explore the internet's redeeming himself here. He's asking you a question.
Well, we're not really talking about the 100 tonight. We've talked about it quite a lot.
No, exactly.
The 100's gone well. It's basically, it comes down to the quality of cricket. You want to watch quality cricket. If the cricket's good, then the tournament will be a success. And so far, the 100's been pretty tasty. It was a good game last night. David Willey smacked it everywhere.
But the only thing is, it should not be played during the Test match. I'm sorry, that's a big mistake.
They'll be on now, won't it? There'll be a live game on now. I think Birmingham are playing now against the Oval. So.
Yeah. Okay, so Hamid, Music Harmony has joined us after a while. He's been a regular. Chris knows him very well. I know him very well too. Hamid needs to start ahead of Sibley. Hamid, what are your thoughts about that, guys?
Yeah.
It's early, but what do you think?
Well, we talked about it earlier in this show, Norman. I think Sibley will get certainly, obviously, the second innings here, and possibly the test after. Possibly the second test. But I wouldn't pick Sibley. He's not in my team. I wish I could. I wish I was as good as he was, but I'm not. But that doesn't stop me having an opinion that I don't. When you've got what I said earlier, and Naresh and Gill, was when you've got such a bad technique, the minute you don't back that up with runs, it looks even worse, and people will pick out your bad technique. If you've got a bad technique, and I mentioned Graham Smith earlier, bad technique, but scored shitload of runs. No one worries about your bad technique. So, and I don't think Sibley will be playing at the end of the series. I'll be surprised.
This is a good comment. Had Noah Ali played instead of Dan Lawrence, you would have got some quality batting and some bowling. And considering England are light on with bowlers, they've only got 4 designated bowlers. I think that's going to be a big mistake.
No, I don't think so. Moeen Ali's batting has not been good for quite a long while. But we spoke about this in the pre-show. England have a problem with balance without Stokes. And to get a spinning all-rounder like Ali or maybe Liam Livingstone in there later on in the series would give them restore that balance that they have, that they need to be able to play all the seamers lower down. The problem is they bring Leach in, their batting tail gets very long.
I have a question. What's the news on availability of Chris Wokes? He's out for the first 2 tests. Do we see him available for the next 3?
Yeah, I think he's going to be available, but I don't know how he's going to get any cricket. Because there's no red ball cricket being played.
Because if he's available, then it might solve a few issues in terms of balance for England. I think he's a good enough player to bat at number 7. Maybe Dan Lawrence can go out then, and someone like a Chris Wokes can come in, and along with Sam Curran, he adds depth to the batting. But I think that England will have to drop one of the pacers to play Jack Leach as the series progresses, because the pitches will get drier.
Lords have the best spinner at Lords. I would think they'll need the best spinner at Lords.
Jack Leach was quite good against the likes of Rohit and Pujara. So I don't think that Anderson, Broad, and Ollie Robinson will play all 5 test matches. I think somewhere Mark Wood will also come in as a part of the rotation, and I'm quite sure that Jack Leach.
Robinson looks a decent bowler, didn't he, again today? I think he's a little bit short, but he's got a bat, and I like him giving a bit of verbals to the batsman as well. I know it's not the dumb thing, but I don't mind a bit of that. We've all played cricket. We all know that that's part of the game. Provided
he actually had the ball coming back into the bat as well. He wasn't.
He looks like he's got a career, doesn't he? He looks like he's got something, Robinson, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
So the comment by Razul Hassan, just quickly on Alex Hales, 0 chance. Talked about it before. No career for England for Alex Hales at all. Won't happen. No chance.
But what a pity! What a pity, though.
Serves him right. If I swore on here, Norman, if I said a really bad word or something really racist that upset Gil and Naresh, and you said, Richard, please, will you promise me you'll never say anything like that again? And I said, I'm really sorry, guys. I didn't mean it. I won't do it again. And the next night I came on and I said something equally as bad. Would you let me back on the show again, or would you say you've?
Well, I have that issue right now, don't I?
Well, there we go. But I'm just saying, Alex Hales stood up in front of the England in the dressing room after his second offence with smoking pot, or whatever he did, pot I think, and Morgan talked to him in front of the whole team, as far as I understand, called him out, and Hales said, "Really sorry, guys. I want to be part of the team. I won't do it again." And guess what? He did it again. Morgan said, "You're gone," and that's it. He ain't coming back. I'm telling you, no chance. We spoke about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, didn't we?
Okay, here's an interesting point. Music Harmony's brought up. Music Harmony is always very good for his insightfulness. Someone from England tweeted that the obsession with Ashes is the root cause of all the problems. They consider a series versus XYZ as a practice match for the Ashes. Now, I don't think that's the way that they think. But what's your thoughts, guys?
I've been speaking too much. I'll let the other guys have something to say.
Norman, yeah, okay. I think more than this obsession, I think it is the rotation policy which still seems to be a little mysterious. You need to settle down with 11 which you feel is going to get you wins, and India and Australia are the only two series which are 5 test series for England in this cycle of the championship. You want to win the maximum, you want to get the maximum points out. So I think it's the rotation that is more impacting them than the obsession of Australia of the Ashes, because that's not the end of the road. They still need to aim to play the finals of the 2023, and that is where Moeen Ali not starting, Adil Rashid, the experienced spinner, not in the side for these two tests. So that becomes, yes, they went with Besto and Butler both together in this test. Butler didn't score today. But I think that combination, they're struggling. The middle order seems to be less experienced. If Root had not got a 50 plus, maybe this would have been a 150 total. I think that is where England is getting impacted. Over reliance on Anderson and Broad to do the damage. How much more? Probably this is last against India and England, and the last Ashes coming up for them.
Okay, I just want to make this comment. We've got Sahil Kalia. He's basically loving the show, which is great. He's in Canada. You can see what it's very nice.
Look, we've got some injury problems, and India have got injury problems. We're missing some of our big name players for injury, which doesn't help. I don't think England would look at this series against India with any disrespect to India at all. I think India are probably the best side in the world, although New Zealand would argue with that. And this is seen as a massive series for us. We're just not very good at the moment. And that's not treating India with disrespect. Let's face it, if Archer, Wokes and Stokes were fit, they'd all be in the side. We'd still have a bit of problems at the top of our batting order, but we'd look a stronger side, wouldn't we?
But your batting order is the problem. Your batting order is the problem.
It is. But in answer to the main question, I'm really sorry. Yes, the Ashes is massive for us. I'm really sorry. For me, it's all us playing Australia is the absolute top we can get in cricket. I want to watch England beat Australia in cricket, like I want to watch England beat Wales in rugby or France.
Just send Bangladesh over. Bangladesh will beat us at the moment, as we know.
But
Two games in a row.
What I'm saying is that we can't help that. If India play Pakistan, isn't that a big game? Isn't that a massive game for India?
Well, absolutely. But what I'm coming from the point of, won't you want to play the combination which you are confident will get you wins? That is a better preparation for Ashes than, okay, I understand there are injuries happening now, but the rotation policy as such is, what happened in India when England came in.
Yeah.
Chris Woakes became a passenger. Yeah.
I don't think we're picking a side for these tests with mind for Australia, particularly. I don't think we are. It doesn't seem to be we are. I think we're picking what they consider as the best available side to try and win these tests. And we're just not very good, unfortunately. And India were bloody sight better today.
Okay, I'm going to just digress a little bit. And Sahil Keela, being from Canada, has asked me why Australia is not playing well at the moment as per its standards. Yeah, we do have a high standard. We've been very typically winning most things we've played in the last so many years. But Australia's on a distinct downward spiral. And I've talked about that already. First of all, it's not just the players alone and the quality of players, it's the selection. I've mentioned before that Alex Carey was given the captaincy for the ODI. He's in the T20 team, yet Matthew Wade is captaining. What's going on there? Matthew Wade should not be playing in that side at all. He's a loudmouth on the field. He's actually quite obnoxious. I don't think
Australian. Of course he is. Of course he's loud and obnoxious. He's an Aussie.
Well, but he's not a good captain. He's proving it. Oh, Quinton de Kock has joined us. That's nice. We've got any Quinton de Kock.
Hey, he's over here playing in 100. He's a good cricketer, Quinton de Kock, isn't he?
I mean, the Australian side has Mitchell Marsh, even though he's batting okay, is not worthy of a first drop position. Where the hell is Warner?
He's performed all winter for Australia in these games. He's performed all the time. Sorry, Gil. Yeah.
But the reality is the Australian bowlers Stark's not a T20 specialist anymore. Hazelwood has played very few T20 matches. Cummins is the only one I would rate. They've got some severe selection problems there. They don't know what they're doing with Carey. They don't know what they're doing with Wade. Moses Enriquez is a quality player, hasn't performed yet. They're a mess. These are the last few matches they're playing against Bangladesh as an Australian team before the World Cup. It's awful. Absolutely.
Why is Stoinis not in the 11? Why is Stoinis not there?
Okay, why is Stoinis not there? Why is Warner not there? Why is, say, Steve Smith not there?
Stoinis has gone to join the West Indies over 50s. Apparently, he can get in that team.
No. The reality is, Reg, the reality is IPL dictates to them where they're playing. Maxwell, Warner, Smith, Stoinis, where do they all play? The IPL, correct?
Yeah.
That's where they are. They're preparing for that. They don't want to miss that. They don't want to be in quarantine anywhere else. They want to be ready for the IPL because money dictates. Let's be fair. Secondly, they'll then expect to come back for the World Cup, and Australia will be underdone because they won't have a team unit that's played together for a long time. Australia are not going to make the final four of the World Cup.
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
They'll be lucky to win a game the way they're playing. They'll be lucky to win a game.
I think they'll win a game, but it's.
Well, they're not going to. The final four will be India, England, West Indies, and maybe a combination of New Zealand or
Pakistan. I'm on the record.
Yeah.
What you tell me? They're going to go well.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, really Australia will not. Australia are not even in the top five. They're probably barely in the top 6 or 7 now.
They're only Sri Lanka's to watch, by the way. Pakistan, when they're playing well, there's something about Pakistan. They've got some flair about them, haven't they? I love it. I'm a big fan. I remember them growing up watching Wasim and Waqar. Fantastic players.
Norman, on the point on IPL, it's still a long way away. You know, these T20 internationals would have benefited them for IPL performance, and especially David Warner. Not sure whether he'll play for Hyderabad even in the second leg.
That's
so probably
true.
he should have featured in this series, you know.
But it's the monetary side.
Naresh, can we retire David Warner because he's a dick? Can we do that? Is that allowed?
Yeah, well, I'm going to pull back on my comment there because
I really, really do not like him at all. I don't think he's a popular guy either, is he, Norman?
He's made some very severe mistakes. Not just sandpaper game, which was his colossal mistake. The way he approached the IPL, we've talked about this guy, haven't we, Gill and the rest? We talked about this during the IPL. The way he wouldn't even announce his team for the Sunrise Hyderabad. I mean, he was awful.
Norman, there's a brilliant comment from Quinton de Kock here. There's a brilliant. You've got to put his last comment on there. You've got to show. That's class.
Explore the internet. I'm not being real.
Quinton de Kock's last. Yeah, and then he's I'm not the real Quinton. Really, you're not the real Quinton de Kock watching Norman's podcast. I think commenting.
You know what? But hang on. When you say you're not somebody, isn't that right, Gil and the rest and Reg? When you say you're not someone, you may well be the person.
Well, if he is, I'd like to give him credit because he's one of the world's greatest cricketers, and I love watching him play. And apparently, he's a good guy too. So it'd be great to have him.
The best keeper? No, what are you talking about? He's a
great guy, isn't he? Everyone says he's a really nice fella, Quinton de Kock.
Great catch he took a couple of nights back. I think a wonderful catch he took. Yeah?
Oh, it's brilliant. He's playing in 100 over here. He's playing well. He crashes it. He's a proper player. Gil, do you think that India will get a big score tomorrow, or do you think it's going to be a battle? Because the weather forecast is for a bit of rain around, and obviously when it came overcast today after tea, it hooped around again, didn't it?
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle, but I expect India to take a lead. I think the least I think that I expect India is to take a 50-run lead. I want them to cross or at least reach 250, and then take whatever from there on as a bonus, because Indian batsmen also haven't been in great form. Cheteshwar Pujara hasn't scored 100 in 2 years now. Virat Kohli, despite his good innings in between where he scored 50s, he averages only
28 in the last 2 years, isn't he, Kohli? Was that right? Averaging 28.
He averages 25 in his last 8 innings. Yeah. Ajinkya Rahane is always going up and down, so you never know. And you really can't rely a lot, or you can't rely the likes of Pant and Jadeja to put you out of a hole if you find yourself in one. So yeah, I'm hoping that one of the batsmen in the top five do well, like Root, and hopefully there's enough support for the batting to take them to 250, because India also have to bat fourth, so they have to be wary of that. Chasing 150 in the fourth innings can also be an issue.
In any country in the world, and in England the same. Although we haven't got a spinner, you're right. Anything between a 180 chase in the fourth innings is always a test, isn't it?
So
Traditionally in cricket, no matter where in the world,
in
180.
fact, India couldn't chase 180 when they had to chase 180 last time at Edgbaston. They fell short by 30 runs. So
Yeah.
yeah, anything over 150 will be a difficult chase for sure.
Yeah.
Anything over 130 in the T20 is a difficult chase for Australia at the moment.
I think that if the weather permits and we get enough cricket in this game, and the forecast isn't great for Friday, from what I've heard, but showers and the way the ground's dry pretty well. If we get enough cricket, there's going to be a result. And that's got to be good for the series, isn't it? A result in the first game. We'll lose the second game, by the way, so I don't really want us to go 2-0 down. We'll lose at Lords, that's for sure. So,
gee, I tell you what, if India are able to win this, which they've got a good chance after the first day's play, and they win at Lords, a 2-0 lead in this series is huge. Huge.
I've got an answer. Amity just put a thing about Rahane. He's made for English conditions. His skills are brilliant. Yes, but he's been injured, isn't he? He was only just declared fit for this test. I think I'm right. It was not quite 50-50, but he's been injured. So I wonder how much cricket he's actually played in the last 5 weeks. Has he managed to get any real practice in? It's tough. It's tough going out, no matter how good you are, when you've not had any proper middle practice at all. It's going to be difficult for him and to go out there. We've all done it. We've all come when we've not played for 3 or 4 weeks, and you walk out in the middle, you feel like you've never picked a bat up, don't you? It takes.
Yeah, I think both Rahane and Virat didn't feature in that practice game against the
I said to Norman, what was going on there? Why wouldn't they play?
Well, in all fairness, Virat Kohli had a back problem, and Rahane had a hamstring. So I do think there were legitimate reasons for them not to play. I think they would have played.
I'm amazed. We said at the time, Norman, I'm amazed that they didn't play. You want time in the middle. I've played cricket for many years, and time in the middle you need proper time. Not with your guys just bowling at you from in a net or anything. You need proper time in the middle to play this game as a batsman. And he'll probably go and score 100, having me said that. And if he does, it'll be a good 100 to watch, because he's a lovely player, isn't he, Rahane? When he bats, he's lovely to watch.
Oh, he certainly is. He certainly is. It's going to be. I want to see Kohli get runs. I really do.
I don't. There we go. 48 people watching now. Let's hope Kohli gets 0. That'll upset everyone in India.
I'd like to see all the 3, 4, 5 Pujara, Kohli, Rahane get runs, and I would like to see India bat the entire day tomorrow, whatever top start game we get tomorrow, because they shouldn't get influenced by another worse weather coming ahead and then start chasing to get a total soon, and that may just be a little risky. Because psychologically it will be a huge advantage if they bat out the day tomorrow. So the first session would be very critical. In the past, we haven't done well in the first session. We have given away the advantage, right, starting from Adelaide. So the first session, and especially now we didn't lose a wicket in the last hour. I think that's also a good win. KL and Rohit Sharma played out the 1 hour.
I'm amazed. Yeah. I would have backed it being 20 odd for 2. I would have absolutely backed us getting at least 1. But
we didn't bowl. KL Rahul's going to prove to be a great selection, honestly.
Yeah. There's someone on the comments said, VJ said, why aren't we talking about Australia performance in Bangladesh? All I can say is that when we finish this, go back and watch. We've talked a whole heap about that. I mean, really, we must have, the 4 of us, and before Naresh and Gul came on, me and Norm must have spent 15 minutes. Must we all talk about it? We talked a lot. So, I think in answer to Amity, that Rohit played well tonight. I think he had a couple of flashy sort of shots but they generally defended pretty well. And it's not easy to go out and bat for the last hour of the day when you've just bowled a side out for 180 and the ball's been doing everything.
What did you think of Anderson and Broad?
Too short. I don't think they bowled very well. They got a few past the outside edge, but they got a few the same as the Indians did. They got plenty past the outside edge when they bowled too short. That's not what you want. They got their success and they pitched it up. The Indian bowlers. And Broad and Anderson I thought were too short. I thought Curran looked fantastic when he came on to bowl it over. I think if they were trying to get what's going on there, by the way. Were you watching it live? They showed the clock on the ground when there was one ball left. They had 2 minutes to go. Robinson bowled the ball and the umpire called time. It looked like this should have been another over.
But then again, they played half an hour over to start with, didn't they? So I think it's much as they may have made it as maybe there was a reason for it. Maybe they thought that was sufficient. That was more number of overs.
I imagine the batsmen were dead pleased.
Well, they bowled 65 overs, didn't they? They bowled 65 overs to England, and then
over rates are terrible, though, aren't they? Absolutely terrible. You know what they've done in the 100, guys? Have you seen what they brought? Brilliant rule in the 100. Have you seen what they've done?
Yeah. They have to get a fielder in if they go past the time, right?
And it cost one side the game about 4 or 5 nights ago. They didn't make the cut-off. They had to bring up square leg. They decided square leg. Next ball, straight over deep backward square. One bounce forward. Right where the fielder was, game gone. It was. I mean, that's a really good. They should bring that in a lot of cricket. You give it the time. If you don't bowl in, you get a fielder up into the circle. It's a good idea. Really good idea.
But in this cycle, starting this cycle, there is a -1 point for short over rate per over. But I don't know how this will get calculated because in the end, India bowled out England.
It's always an excuse, but their over rate was poor, wasn't it? It was 12 point something, and England's will be equally as poor. If the ICC really wanted to do something about over rates, they could. You can either run penalty runs or ban the captain straight away. Or there's all sorts they could do. They just don't want to, do they? Just match fees. The players are millionaires.
That doesn't
$20,000. They don't care. It can't be financial.
They had a media conference. The ECB had a media conference. I haven't seen it yet, but Marcus Trescothick went in to talk. Interesting because I don't know about you. When you have a media conference, I prefer to have a player there than a coach. Or I want the players who are out there. That's my thoughts.
But when you've had a bad day, Norman, who wants to go up in front of the media?
That's their job is to do that. Really, their job is to do that. It's not a matter of we've had a bad day. I'm gonna hide.
You wouldn't have sent Dan Lawrence up, would you? Or Josh Butler?
No, he would have very little to say. Oh, I didn't bat well. But I would have had Sam Curran out there having an old chat. Gil, have you had a show on today on your channel?
Sorry?
Have you had your show on your channel tonight?
No, not. I released an episode yesterday. It was, featuring Anandya Datta. He's a banker turned author. He's written 5 books on Indian cricket, the history of Indian cricket, and he's also written a book on Indian tennis. So anyone who's interested to know about the history of Indian cricket, especially the spin bowling history, I'd like them to watch this episode. Or if you're interested in tennis and you want to particularly know about Indian tennis history, I'd say it's a must watch because it covers a lot of aspects of Indian tennis and how it's evolved, what connections does it have with Indian history in general, and where do things stand for Indian tennis going forward, and who does Anandya Datta thinks can be the players to watch out for in men's tennis in the future. So
just tell the viewers what's the name of the channel at Gilly Cricket.
Yeah, the name of the channel is Gilly Cricket, and the name of the show is Gupshup with Gil. So you can search for it. There are also other people who are from the world of cricket who've been interviewed. There's Jared Kimber, there's Ben Jones, there's Rana Kapoor of ESPN Cricket Info, there's Abhishek Mukherjee, there's Vijay Lokapalli, there's Gaurav Kapoor of Breakfast with Champions who's been there. So there's also Hemant Buch, who's a TV director who covers a lot of games for Sony Network, and he actually explained why there's a need for a soft signal in his interview. So lots of different and varied content for anyone who's interested in sports to watch there.
I'm waiting for an invite. Maybe my inbox is over full. Maybe you haven't sent it. I'm not sure, but anyway.
Yeah, see, I have no issues in inviting you, but I'm not sure what are we going to talk about, because we are
Well, the
talking to each
normal
other
rubbish
so often
Norman
on
always
camera.
talks about.
So,
what
so
about
you know,
what about my love life or something? We can talk about my
Oh,
love life.
Norman, come on,
yeah,
let's hear about your love life.
see, a lot
I
of
can't talk about my love life on my channel. I can talk about it on your channel, though.
a lot of kids also watch my channel, and I don't want them to hear anything scandalous. So
You should bring me on to
That's
my love
nasty.
life,
That's
Bill.
very, very nasty.
I've
Now,
been married
Naresh,
for 30 years. I haven't got one.
Naresh, you've got a program. Tell me about yours.
Yeah, so it's a podcast. Basically, two of us, two friends, we obviously discuss cricket. What's going on in the world of cricket. So it's predominantly in Hindi. We are focusing on the local, followers, and it's all over the Indian platforms, the Indian apps that are hosting the podcast. But it's on the English one also, Spotify, and we distribute through Anchor. So it's the recent one. The last one was the preview to this series, or to this test match. It's about 6 episodes old. We started from the WTC actually, but we are covering most of the games that's happening around the world. We covered the Indian women tour also. We covered West Indies, South Africa. So we are, whatever we could cover, we are doing
Good
that.
series, the England women. It was good
Yeah,
cricket.
yeah,
Very good.
good cricket. Yeah. It's sad to see only one of Test match. They should be playing more Test cricket also.
They're trying I think the ECB are trying for the England ladies to play more tests. It's coming down to other countries wanting to play it as well, and it's about money, isn't it? Money and opportunity. But there's they are playing more. We've got a test against
okay,
South Africa.
guys,
So Naresh, what's the name of your program?
Made in 100 with NNN, because I'm Naresh and my friend is Nitish. So NNN is our, the first alphabet of
You need
name.
to put it
So
at the bottom of your name, Naresh. You should have your name with your tag there.
I'll do
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'll do that. Made in
Now
100. We
this,
first named 36 all out. We first thought that we should name it 36 all out, because we can never forget that what happened in Adelaide. But then
that's
we
true.
said, let's
So why
sober
did you
it
do
down.
it?
Yeah.
Now, guys, this is disgraceful. Amity 999, which sounds like Amityville Horror to me, which is a very famous horror movie, says, Norman, I'm really bad at humour. I take that offensively. All right. All right. Gil, Gil, who are you typing to? Who are you typing to? Who are you texting? How dare you text people?
Upset Alan Mullally there. Don't do that, Gil.
No. It's not. I was just asking someone in my team to post something, and I was just about to take your leave. It's 12:15 now.
Yeah.
I have to wake up. I have to wake up
Oh,
tomorrow at 7.
is that late for you? Is it? It's
Yeah.
4:49 a.m. for me. Don't give me late. My God, what is this?
Norman, unlike you, I'm not used to having sleepless nights for a lot of different
Don't
reasons.
ask him why they're sleepless nights, Gil.
I have to
Okay.
wake up at 7 tomorrow to watch the Indian hockey team play the bronze medal match against Germany, and I hope you would be cheering for India and not for Germany.
Who do you think will be cheering
That's a
for
hard
England?
one. That's a
Who
hard
do you
one.
think the English should be cheering for? Go on, Indians. Come on, guys. I wanted to ask, just before you go, guys, can I ask one question that struck me today? I was watching the Indians bat at the end, and they were calling and talking in English. Is this because they come from different parts of India? They would speak different, and do they always speak in English in the team? Do you understand what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah. So someone like KL Rahul comes from a state in South India, which is Karnataka, where Hindi is not the common language. It's Kannada or English. And Rohit Sharma comes from Maharashtra, where the common language is Marathi or Hindi and English. So because KL is not so fluent in Hindi, so they chose to talk in English. And sometimes when you have players from the same state, they are talking in their own regional language, like. If Dinesh Karthik, sometimes you'd see in the IPL, Dinesh Karthik will be talking in Tamil to Varun Chakravarti because both of them come from the same state. So it's how it is. Just on this aspect, There's this speech by Rahul Dravid. It's from 2011, from the Bradman oration. He was the first non-Aussie to give that Bradman oration speech. And there's an anecdote where he talks about how, the Indian team, or like an India A team, had a bowler who comes from Kerala, where people really don't speak Hindi at all, and the other bowler who comes from Uttar Pradesh, where the common language is Hindi. And he said it would have been fine because when you are bowling, you really don't have to discuss with each other. But he said things became really funny when they had to bat with each other and there was no common language. So he said that it did matter eventually because the language that they were speaking was that of cricket, and both of them have had learned that language back when they were probably youngsters and at the ages of 5 or 6. So this is quite common in Indian cricket. It happens quite a lot. It's been.
I think recently Ashwin spoke of Ashwin can't speak good Hindi. Even he comes from the south of India. So I think the Sydney Test, he and Vihari, when they were trying to draw the game, he has narrated that how they both were speaking the local language, which was neither English or Hindi, and how he was backing Vihari because Vihari was injured. He was carrying hamstring in that inning, at Sydney.
That's great, though. That's great.
Right.
When you speak your own language or your own, like your local dialect, you're able to be very clever around other players, aren't you?
Yeah. Because sometimes you have Indian commentators and they pick up something from the mic, and during Ashwin and Vihari's inning, even the commentators couldn't pick up what they're chatting, because it wasn't a common language, either English or Hindi, so it was the local language they were communicating with each other. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah.
If me and Norman were batting together, the only language we would need was Norman would be saying no quick singles.
I'm afraid I was an outstanding runner between wickets, except for one
outstanding out of that big tight Aussie shirt of yours, Norman. That's the only thing that was outstanding. Your big belly.
The reality is, you're all just jealous. You're just simply jealous. When you start picking apart someone's appearance, it's called jealousy. Deep-seated. Gil, are you posing? What's this? Are you posing or something? What is this?
No. I was just tightening my turban. That's it.
I think of the four of us, Naresh looks the fittest. I've got to be honest, Gil. I haven't seen you stood up, but I'm thinking Naresh looks a bit lithe and very athletic.
Naresh below the chest belt there, which he's showing, he's got a bottom that's bigger than.
No, I'm slim. Yeah,
He looks slim.
Yeah.
He looks slim.
How do you know I'm not slim? You're only seeing my head.
I've seen your cricket videos, Norman, which are ultra embarrassing, and I've seen you wobbling around and bowling those little dobby seamers that you try and put down.
When when you've played on the MCG and taken wickets, on the SCG and taken wickets, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me. When you've done that, you come and talk to me. Then we'll compare notes.
I played at the Oval. That's my only claim to fame is I played at the Oval 3 times. So
I heard that you walked across the Oval late at night when you weren't supposed to. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, probably. Oh dear!
Gil,
I wish I played at
Resh, when you come to Australia, we're playing on the SCG. We're playing Bravado. We're going to arrange something, all right?
Yeah, I'll be rubbish.
Hopefully.
Hope for the next World Cup, T20 World Cup in Australia. Yeah.
But who's the best batsman between the four of us? Gil, do you fancy yourself as a batter?
Yeah, I'd say you have the best defense because of how you are in the habit of defending things, maybe.
I beg your pardon. Have you seen the video of me hitting Shripali Wirakoti on the streets of Sri Lanka? Smacked her all over the place.
If there are no LBWs, Norman, your defence would be the best in the world because the ball would never get past you to get to the stumps, would it?
Blah, 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 blah. Boom, boom. I have videos on my YouTube channel of me bowling everywhere. Have a good and batting.
Norman, just asking. Have you been to Bangladesh?
Yes.
How many times?
Twice.
That's roughly the same amount of time the Australian cricket team has also toured Bangladesh in the last decade.
Twice. I've been there 3 times. I was there only 2 years ago. 2.5.
then it's more than what Australia has to Bangladesh in the last a decade or so.
And I'll tell you what, they're not going to go back after losing the first 2 matches. They're going to be running scared.
Yeah, for sure. Completely agree.
It's 3 Bangla Stadium there. I remember seeing all those little shops around the bottom of the ground. I went to the BKSB, which is the Bangladesh Institute of Sports, watched the women cricketers play there, a number of Indian players. I've done a few trips, but I love it. In fact, on my Instagram, not Instagram, my Twitter handle, I have a picture of me batting with a white sarong in the streets of Bangladesh.
Sort of you in a white sarong, Norman. Oh, that's a horrible thought.
Go to my Facebook, thank you very much.
I bet 4 people could sleep in it as a tent after you finished with it, couldn't they?
Jealousy is a curse. Reg,
Norman,
jealousy is a curse.
I'm leaving now.
I'll leave.
Cheers, Gil. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thanks,
you.
Gil. So next time we'll talk more about your show as well, and I'm waiting for that invite. All
Okay,
right.
sure. Bye.
Okay. All right, thanks. So now
I'll
we've
also
got.
take a leave, Norman.
You're going to leave going, Reg, going. Reg, you're going. You guys can go if you want to. I mean, it's only 5 in the morning here. I'm going to be getting up now. The sun will be coming up in a minute.
I'm really due for another rum. Look, I've nearly done it. I'm nearly due for another rum and coke.
Well, I'm not going anywhere because we've still got an audience here.
Are you going to go?
So,
are you going to go, Norman?
I'm enjoying this. I've enjoyed this. You guys are great.
Let's answer some questions, Norman, because we got so many people who are good enough to watch us bleating about rubbish that we should answer. We should. If someone puts some interesting questions up, let's do that, shall we? Yeah.
Yes, please do.
About cricket, not about Australia being. Oh, I said a rude word.
That is cricket.
Well, not today. It wasn't, was it? It was rubbish.
I tell you what, there's not much being said in the press about the match. They're not even mentioning it. Really, it's quite disturbing, actually.
Why not just have a bowling machine in place of a bowler? Every new rule in cricket can't be against the bowler.
Have a look at this. This is Lata Mondol, who plays female cricket for Bangladesh. She's putting on all the evidence that Bangladesh have won.
Yeah. I explore the internet. It's from Chittagong. He must be very pleased with the result. Well done. I mean, look, cricket needs all nations to be strengthening up and be competitive. Yeah. It can't be just about England, India, and Australia, because the game will die if the ECB, BCCI, and Cricket Australia let that happen. It will be the death of cricket. We have to bring on and support cricket worldwide. You know.
Yeah, and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have to go through the qualifiers of the World Cup. Sri Lanka probably, you can say, achieved with this tour of India. At least in the T20 phase, they won 2-1. Though India had a setback. Yeah. So both of them have to go through the qualifiers. So they probably go in very confident. This probably is helping their cricket more. That India tour to Sri Lanka and Australia tour to Bangladesh is helping them more. Yeah. So it'll be interesting how they go through the qualifiers. They have Ireland and Scotland to play. Oman is the host country for the qualifiers. They are part of the have to go through the game. So that will be interesting. Yeah.
I'd say to Rosu Entertainment, I am watching the hundreds. It has been good, and it's about cricket. It doesn't. You can have a few extra silly rules, and it's still a game. It's still a game of cricket, and if the cricket's good, the competition will be a success. The crowds have been pretty good. The television coverage is Sky always do it well in our country. They're very good, the Sky coverage, and let's hope it's a success. But it's only as good as the product on the field. If that's good, the competition will be good. So
the only issue is the timing. It's just shouldn't be amongst the Test match. That's all.
Okay, but I like some of the rules. I like we said that no matter when the wicket falls, the new batsman's always on strike. I think that's good. I think it's a nice little rule to bring in, so you can't change ends. I'll quickly do that. If whatever the wicket falls, the new batsman's on strike. I like the rule for bringing a fielder in if you don't make your cut-off time. I think that works well. So.
Oh, look, it's not about those rules. I'm not talking about the rules. I'm talking about the timing.
I understand the timing. Banstead Boy, Naresh, what are we going? Are we going to get a result in this match? I would have thought after this day today, there's every chance there'll be a result in the match.
There's every chance, yeah, because
there's
you
definitely
may
going to
not
be a
need,
result.
if there is less
about the
rain, you may
weather.
not need all the 5 days. Yeah,
Yeah,
you may not
depending
need
if
all
they
5
lose
days.
a lot of the game through the weather. There is some weather about, but I would have thought we've got enough cricket gone in the first day, and the grounds dry up brilliantly. All the test venues in this country now, they're laid on sand underneath the outfields. They drain really fast, and they get the cricket. They get the cricket on. I would imagine that it'll go. There'll be a result. I think India favourites, but let's see. As we said at the start, Norman, you never know until both sides are batted. Once India have batted their first innings, then we'll get an idea of where the game is.
But they're in a good position. There's no doubt about that.
Oh,
They've done extremely well on their first day.
brilliantly.
And don't forget, the first day of the first test match of the test series, namely 5, is extremely significant. It sets the tone for the whole series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And India are here to play, and they're here to play well. And they've learnt from the World Test Championship with their selections, the way they're playing, the way they're bowling, whereas England have got a lot of things wrong already, and it's quite concerning.
Yeah. The narrow road made a good comment just to what we were talking about just now, Norman. The main issue is the revenue distribution from the big three. And he's right. I'll say it again, if the ECB, because we've got good money in this country, the BCCI, who are the richest cricket board in the world, and Cricket Australia, do not work out a way to support cricket worldwide, then the game will die.
And don't worry, women's cricket's certainly helping out dramatically.
Women's cricket's great. I mean,
it's got such a big upward curve.
We have to promote it. We have to, and I know we do. I mean, Chris toured and went to Mexico with the MCC on tour and Costa Rica, bringing cricket there, and then they go out and they coach the kids and they play the cricket. So he spent 3 weeks out there with the MCC, and they travel around the world. So that's great. But we can't let West Indies cricket, because there's no money, or South Africa is struggling massively. We have to find a way. And I know it's all about sponsorship and every country wants to be rich, but God, the game's too important, isn't it? Don't we? I love the game. I don't just watch England play. I watch cricket.
Well, the USA, the Asia Cup, that there's a lot in those two conferences, let's call them. The reality is that it is the second biggest sport in the world. Okay? And we mustn't forget that. And on top of that, if it does get an Olympics berth in whatever format, it's going to be excellent for the exposure of cricket. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it will. But we just need to be careful with all these little tournaments that go around the world.
Well, Aberdeen 999 is talking about China and America. America are already there. The second biggest audience behind India, Aberdeen, just to let you know. China would be a huge one to crack.
I think I can't. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a Chinese sort of game, does it? Cricket? I don't know.
But China do everything in the Olympics. Would you ever said diving was a Chinese thing? Where do they dive? On the Yangtze River? No. I mean, really. I mean, they're swimmers. For God's sake, who would ever have thought China would have good swimmers? I certainly wouldn't have. They look. I tell you what. If cricket's in the Olympic Games, China will want to know about it. They're going to want to play it. They're going to want a medal. So you watch them suddenly. China, country like China. It could be just the tonic. If the Olympics is promoting cricket, you could well see that being played in China. I'll tell you now.
It could be an Indian gold medal, couldn't it? Cricket in the Olympics could be Indian gold.
That would be a fantastic advertisement for cricket, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Did you see the runner? Who was the runner the other day who won the first ever gold medal for her country? Oh, she was. Where did she come from? Sabu Baku or somewhere? Or it was a weird and wonderful country.
Yeah.
And she won gold, and she was in.
Well, the Philippines won a gold medal. That was a big deal too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's great. I love watching the Olympics when it's like that. I get emotional watching it, but you see the people who care, and it matters. It matters so much. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You know.
Did I tell you, Nish, that Emma McKeon, who won 7 medals, the most for Australia, in one effort here in the swimming pool, her father went to school with me. He was an Olympian as well. So it's quite impressive. Ron McKean, he was at my school patient. Yes. All right, guys. You let me know if you want to keep talking because I'm happy. I'm in a mood. I'm sitting here. I'm going to eat myself a drink.
I'll take your leave, Norman. Yeah.
Look, well, I should get off the air because I've bleated on enough and bored everyone.
You're not boring, but there's a fair crowd here. I tell you,
I know,
5 in the bloody morning. I tell
why
you.
don't I let you and Naresh have the stage for a little while?
That's all right.
So you can actually talk some
I think
sense.
we've gone an hour and
Naresh can
39.
talk some sense.
We'll go a bit longer. And Naresh, is there anything you want to talk about? Especially, I want to know more
I'm
about
going
your.
to sign off, Norman. Is that okay? Because it's
Okay,
8
Rich.
o'clock.
Thanks, mate. I really
I
appreciate
need
it.
to go and have something to eat.
All right. But you aren't getting anything to go to sleep because at the moment it's what 9 p.m. where you are.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. You're in the perfect slot.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys,
All right,
thank
I'll
you
see you
so
tomorrow,
much for
Rich, if you want
having
to
me.
come on.
Cheers to
Get
everyone
on.
watching. Naresh, it's been a pleasure, sir. And speak to you soon. Speak to you soon, Norman. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao,
Cheers.
ciao.
Cheers, mate.
Bye. Cheers.
Well, Naresh, I want to know a bit more about your podcast. Please tell us. When did you start it?
Just before the WTC final, we just started off there. So we are two of us, a friend of mine who has worked for All India Radio also. So we are doing more in Hindi, as I said, it is more for the local audience. And there are a couple of good platforms in India on the apps which are promoting podcasts. So just few episodes so far. It's a weekly episode, but we follow the schedule to see when we do it. It's like we did the preview on Sunday for this test match, and then once the game is over, we will do the review of the test and the preview of the second one. So initial stage, but it's started off decent. You know, there are followers, people are listening.
And you've got a
couple
nice.
of apps.
I like the way you've designed your thumbnails very well as well. They're pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Good stuff. I'm impressed.
Thanks, Norman.
So Akash has just made a compliment about you. He just said something. Very decent and balanced views from your side. Much better within the spirit.
Thank
you,
Akash. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
Well, then, tell them the name of your channel again.
Made in 100. Made in 100.
Made in 100.
Made in 100. When you score your first century,
right.
Made in 100.
Okay, that made okay.
Made in 100.
Made in 100. Okay, with MNN. Correct.
With NNN.
NNN. Can you type that in the comments, please? After it, can you put that?
I'll do that.
Do it now and do it in the comments as well. Be on that if you don't mind, because I want to be able to talk about it with the correct information. So Made in 100, as an MAIDAN or Ian, isn't it? Ian, isn't it?
Yeah. Ian, yeah.
So MAIDEN 100 with N and M, is it?
Yeah, N and N. I'll just put that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to promote that for us. We'll help you do that. Okay.
Sure, Norman. Thanks. Yeah.
All right. So Alex Hales was certainly bagged by Barnstead by there. Reg had a good go at him, and he may have had some drug issues, whatever. But they're missing out on a star. I tell you, Alex Hales is box office, and Chris Gale's had plenty of misdemeanors in his time. He really should be. Alex Hales can't be lost to cricket. They can't lose him to cricket. You know what? If England don't want him, you know what? Honestly, if England don't want him, he should be able to play for another country, migrate to that country and play. That's how strongly I think about this. He's wasted or lost on cricket. Same with a guy like Chris Lynn, doesn't play for Australia at all. He's lost.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Do you get my point? They may not be playing for their country for whatever political or misdemeanor or whatever, but they're valued to have in a team. I mean, I'd hate to see Roshan Dickweller. He's been banned for 2 years or 18 months. That's a joke, don't you think?
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit too harsh?
Yeah. I mean, the last one, if that's the only reason, it's too harsh. But I think it's lots to do with what happened in the past. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not good for the game, when you lose these kind of players. But I think they all
I don't
want
know
to.
exactly how bad his situation was. I know the kid very well. He's a bit of a character, but he doesn't deserve this. You can't have Alex Hales and Roshan Dickweller, Chris Lynn, or even Glenn Maxwell outside of IPL doesn't get much of an opportunity.
Yeah,
He should have been
yeah.
playing in Bangladesh. I'm absolutely really annoyed.
I think we lost Norman.
To agree in this series.
Sorry, we lost you in between. We lost you in between, Norman.
I was just saying, I'm very annoyed with the way that Australia played against Bangladesh. They've clearly gone there without much of an intention to play, thinking it would be an easy little effort. They haven't gone there seriously at all. They couldn't have, because they've been beaten so comprehensively in the first two matches, and they have not got their best side in. The best side's about to play a World Cup very shortly. This will be the last T20s. I'm pretty sure these are the last international T20s they'll play before the World Cup. So what the hell are they doing? It's inexcusable. Inexcusable.
Yeah, and we don't know the extent of injury to Finch now. Then means they don't have a stable captain to go into the World Cup. And
well,
they can't
Alex Carey has been given the
carry.
ODI, but not the T20. But he still played in the match. And Matthew Wade was given the captaincy. Well, if Matthew Wade thinks it's a way of confirming his position in the World Cup, it's disgusting. He should not be in that side. He's beyond that team. He got dumped from the Test side. The T20 ODIs, he should have been dumped as well. He's done but nothing but distracted to the team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't think Steve Smith has it in him to play T20s. He's good in the longer format, and I don't think he'll get the captaincy also. So yeah, World Cup. I think still Australia is searching for a replacement to Finch if he's not fit. So that's going to be a big one for them.
Yeah, and the reality is that they're missing out on an opportunity with Glenn Maxwell. Why can't he be brought in the captain? I don't understand that. I really don't. I think he's a great player and he is a good leader, and they've got to give him a go. They've got to realise his potential. They're not letting him perform as well. He could even play Test cricket. Australia sadly need a middle order player, and Glenn Maxwell can bowl, certainly bowl good off spin. He can bat, as we know, and he's a great fielder and he's very inspirational. He's not unlike a Jadeja to us, but he's not being selected. Huge mistake. The middle order of Australia in Test cricket is awful. Cameron Green is thereabouts, but they need someone like Glenn Maxwell on that side, and they have not got. I mean, they've got so many errors in their selection policy. Hopefully, George Bailey will come along now and do well. He's a good bloke. He's a fairly astute guy. I hope he doesn't overly favour Tasmania, which means Matthew Wade. But I think that this is will Anderson upset Kohli and Rowan tomorrow? Well, he didn't do it tonight, did he?
No, yeah, I think it was a bit short, so probably we'll see a different line start tomorrow morning, and that's where the first session would be very critical. If KL or Rohit can go on to play a long inning, and yes, it's going to be a big one for Kohli. If you see everything which India was struggling, at least with the ball, went right today. Bumrah was bowling the right length. He got wickets. He bowled Yorkers. We didn't see him bowl Yorkers with the red ball. Mohammad Shami, we call him unlucky. He got the wickets today. Well backed by Shardul and Siraj. So things went right for India. The DRS, the reviews were rightly called. So it's time with the bat now. We get the act together. We see Kohli, Pujara and get the runs. Rohit Sharma get a big one. So it's very, very important. The first session is going to be very critical tomorrow.
India have got no excuses. They've got a great position. Their platform is in a great state. They've selected well.
First test, the day without rain, Root winning the toss, wanting to bat first. So India has taken the advantage. Root has lost that grip on the game at this point of time. He lost the advantage of batting first and not batting the day. So India has to dictate the game going ahead. For that, they have to bat well.
So do you think he made a mistake batting first?
I wouldn't say that. They didn't bat well. Because if there is rain expected from day 2 throughout, stop start, and today was a day which had no forecast for rain, it was a good day to bat, you can say, especially when you're batting at home. So I think they didn't bat well.
No. From the very start, it had the bad first over. I have to comment on this. Pakistan playing India, October the 24th. Wow. That's going to be a huge match. Let's hope it's a big match.
First game of the World Cup. After the qualifiers, the first game is this 24th October.
Do you reckon that was done deliberately?
I think they were put in the same group deliberately, and I think the ICC is open about it.
No, but it's
That
a good thing. It's box office. Everybody
yeah,
wants
because
to
this
watch
is
that
the only
match.
time they play. It's the only ICC tournaments they play. So why not put them in the same group? Absolutely nothing wrong in it. So
No. I don't mean there's anything wrong with it, but what great box office to watch these two teams play. The power of the audience is amazing. It's such an exciting. As I think I told you, the 2015 World Cup. I think you were there too in Australia, and I went to the game. Did you go to the game in Adelaide between India and England?
no,
India
I just did the Melbourne final and no games before that. Yeah,
that was such an amazing atmosphere.
Adelaide. Yeah.
You know who I was in a corner box with? I was actually with Dean Jones.
Oh.
Dean Jones was with me. We had Kunal Sharma from Spartan. They were all in that box. It was quite a special effort actually to be there. It was quite a moment for me. Dean Jones was a lovely man. Unfortunately, he's no longer here. What a loss. He was a great commentator too. He was a lovely bloke. Those sorts of people you can't replace quickly. I mean, the Kerry O'Keefe's, Danny Morrison, Dean Jones, they're characters. You need them in commentary for sure. They're great guys. Real pity he's gone. He only was 58, 59 he was. Too young. But he had a heart attack before that. It wasn't a complete shock. He had a bit of history with that, which is sad to say the least. All right. Naresh, you can go if you want. It's up to you. If you want to keep going, we can keep going.
Sure. No, I'll take your leave, Norman.
All right, Naresh, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
So
Norman. Thanks,
please
Norman.
put in the commentary below your podcast, and it's time for a YouTube channel for you too.
Yeah, I'm not doing much. I did YouTube during the first leg of the IPL a bit, but I'm not that regular on it. More regular on the audio podcast.
All right, thank you very much, Naresh. You're a valued
Thanks,
member of
man.
this team. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
All right,
Thanks.
Naresh. Talk to you soon, huh?
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Naresh Manaskani there. He has his own podcast. Gurkarat Singh Gill has his own podcast. Also, he's on YouTube. Reggie Vernon there, good old Manchester boy, is part of the show. Munchies there. Chris would normally have been on. Monty will be on at the next few. David Gravely will be on probably the next few days. Simon Willis when he gets a chance. There's a lot of people that are on the show that will hope you're enjoying it. We've had a good audience tonight again. Please continue to watch this show. If you're watching now and you haven't subscribed, please go while we're talking and subscribe to the channel. That is my channel, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. It's good to view. I appreciate that, but subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and hit the notification button. So when my sessions come on tomorrow, it'll be the same time again. I think it's 2:30 Indian time, 10 a.m. England time, and 7 p.m. Australian time. That's in Sydney. The game after will be straight after the match around 3:30 in the morning. It's about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night in India, and the equivalent time in England and other parts of the world, of course. So it's really important that you do so. Any other questions? I can see Lata Dean Jones. What a commentator he was. It does look like Mohit has been told it before. And next test, second, we must play with Sky. Well, I don't know whether they're going to put him in that quickly. I think they're going to keep to this side at least for the first couple of games. And Mayank Agarwal may have to wait his turn if Carl Rahul bats well. I'll tell you that now. Thanks, Chandra. I like your presence here. Very impressive. So if you look at the situation, Australia have been defeated in the second T20 in a row by Bangladesh quite convincingly. Australia scored 108 and 120 respective innings. It's very ordinary. Their batting's been shocking. Bowling hasn't been that much better, of course, but it's their batting that's really failing, and it's quite disturbing actually to see such an absolutely implosion of the Australians. They've simply lost out on a lot of fronts. It's been quite disturbing indeed. I just wonder what's happening there. There's selection headaches. I mean, why Matthew Wade's captain, I'll not know. There's actual press conference. I'm sure it'll be coming up pretty soon about that. And so, so I'm just going to look at the situation with Siddharth. I don't know whether Siddharth was today. but Snart's normally on. So where are you coming? When am I coming to India? Thank you. When are you coming to India? Now, look, I'll only come to India when I can. And I would have been there for the IPL. I would have liked to have been the World Test Championship, but that was in England, of course. The whole World Cup would have been in India as well. It's gone to the UAE. And the Indian series against England, I would like to have been there. I would like to have followed it everywhere. I would like to have been a constant voice for both India and the world, and I'm going to continue to do that. So stay tuned, guys, when the COVID's better. I've had my first vaccination. My second comes on August 20, which is still another just over 2 weeks away. I get my second jab. Then I've got a vaccination passport, so to speak. I've got my 2 jabs, and I go through a negative test, and I can hopefully travel in the future. We'll see. I'll find it hard to get back home. That's my only problem. And then the COVID situation, Akhil Gupta, I hope you've subscribed. I haven't seen your name before. How was the COVID situation in your city? We've had 230 cases a day. About 40 have been infectious in the community. So there's not good numbers. About 3,000 or 4,000 have actually got COVID. We're in lockdown until the end of August, probably way longer. Our so-called vaccination rate at the moment is about 16-17%, which is awful. And only about a third of those have actually had the second vaccination. So really we're about 6% of the population that are actually vaccinated, which is terrible, disgraceful. Considering we have no cases for over 6 months, the fact that we haven't got ourselves vaccinated, our province has a lot to answer for. I'm afraid it's been absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Not good at all. Not good at all. Very disappointing. So that's the situation there. So please, if you are viewing the show, please subscribe. I'm watching the numbers. They're going up, and I'd like to everybody who views to subscribe. Hit the button, hit the notification button. Do it while we're talking now, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, Eyes on Cricket with Norm Koch. I have my Twitter handle at Norm Koch, and there's also my Instagram handle. A lot of posts go on there as well. I'm also on LinkedIn. So you guys can attach to me anywhere you like. What are the things that you like about and hate about India? I like a lot about India. I like a lot about it. The only thing I hate about India is it's too far from Australia. No, but I like India a lot. I've got a lot of time in it, 20 times. I've been to Sri Lanka, even more actually, because I was married to a Sri Lankan. I'm now separated, but I was actually living on and off in Sri Lanka all the time, especially around summertime. We would go there, or summertime, my time, which is in December. We would often watch cricket at the cricket cafe, as they call it, in Colombo. And it used to be great. We used to watch it there. And they get me up in the morning. I'll be there with my Coke and having a bit of a watch of the cricket. So I love a lot about India and Sri Lanka. I don't mind Bangladesh as well. I love Pakistan. I love all parts. UAE, Malaysia, South Africa. I'm actually managing girls who play international cricket from all those countries. And they've all been, and I've got a few of them living in Australia from both Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I have a mother who's close to 90. Will turn 90 in December. So September, October, November. Only 4 months away, she turns 90. I have a son who's 24, turning 25 next month. 25, he turns. Wow, incredible. How are you, Himanshu Chowdhury? I haven't seen you for a while. You just joined now at 5:24 a.m., which is almost 1 a.m. in India. Good to see you. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about the India-England Test match and how England have not played that well. India have played very well. Anyone who's joining, 187 to Akshay Ashok Khan Mata, please subscribe. Show me evidence that you're subscribing to my channel, because it's great to watch, but it's important also to be able to subscribe. Well, cricket has been successful in European nations. The Netherlands are a great side. They've had Ryan Campbell there from Australia. Back in the day, Italy had Martin Crowe as their coach. I lived in Germany for 5 years back in the 90s. Played cricket in English Garden in the middle of Munich. We played a game against Italy in Istra, which is near the lakes of northern Italy. Played there. John Palmer, you're in Israel. Well, that's amazing. We've had people from all over the world today. From Canada, Israel, we've had lots of Europeans, obviously Indians. Biran Marani is also from the Philippines. He's Indian, but he's in the Philippines. Singapore, great. Cricket in the Olympics, it'll be there one day. It has to be. It's the second biggest sport in the world. It'll have to be in the Olympics, and then China will take it on. I shouldn't rule England out yet. I know I shouldn't, but good start by India. John Palmer, have you actually subscribed? Have you subscribed? I can check the list of names. Have you subscribed? Please do. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Let's have a look here. Got good content. We're just about to hit 2 hours. I think I may be cutting off pretty soon, guys. Now it's question mode. If you want me to talk, give me questions, or I'll be finishing up. So your questions are important to me, please. And do look at my channel. There's lots of things to see. Well, that's not totally true, because a lot of the Germans, they're playing a lot of the Romanians and Hungarians. I've seen a lot of the Czech Republic. A lot of players are actually locals now too. They're a lot taking on. Yes, a lot of them are also not native to their. Also not doing, they're not doing badly. The Europeans, for God's sake, Europeans. There's plenty of them there. Obviously, a lot of expats, but that's the look. There's a lot of expats in Australia, but they become Australian. They're Australian. They go into Europe. They're expats. Become Europe. Do you know about sports talk? No, I've heard about TikTok, but not sports talk. Must be something new. I've not heard that one. Please place the background screen for seeing the match. What match though? We can't watch the match because the match is not on. So that's now Mitch Marsh is confirmed for the T20 World Cup. Well, he's batting quite okay. He won't be batting first drop. If he does, it's a mistake. I don't think it's going to matter who's in the Australian team. They're playing so badly. I'm sorry. Himanshu Chadha, I think it's terrible the way they're playing. They can't beat Bangladesh, even though it's at home. They can't say the first game was a mistake. They've lost 2 games in a row. They could go the whole 5 tests. They've got to win the last 3 to win the series against Bangladesh. They're in deep trouble. Deep trouble. This is a precursor to the World Cup. Getting beaten by Bangladesh 2 games in a row, it's not a good thing. It's not taking away from Bangladesh. Bangladesh have played pretty well. It's not that. It's the Australian team's just not their best side. There's no excuses. They can use any excuse they want. They West Indies tapped in the T20. West Indies towed them up as well. Really, really badly. It was awful. Yeah. All right. Sports Talk is an Indian cricket YouTube channel having more than 5 million subscribers. Sports Tack. Sorry, not Talk. Sports Tack, of course. So I saw Sports Talk. I've heard of TikTok. Sports Tack, of course. Harsh Gupta. I've had Vikrant Gupta on my show only as recently as a few weeks ago, about a month ago. If you go through the episodes, Harsh Gupta, go through my episodes, you will see an episode with Vikrant Gupta. I've already had that. So I've had Vikrant on my show. I know him very well. Aparna Sani, who's often on this show, has a lot to do with Sports Tech. She does a lot of work with it as well. And Sports Today, I had a lot to do with. Yes, I have heard of Sports Talk. Okay. Absolutely. So Sports Tech. Vikrant Gupta, been on my show. 5 million plus. His son has a show. Buria Majunda with India Today and Sports Today, all affiliated to the same India Today network. India Today, Sports Tech, Sports Today, all connected. There's also Arj Tech as well, another program. So I know him very well. I know him very, very well. Why is cricket not at the Olympics? Well, it will be one day, don't worry. It certainly will be. I think it will be only a matter of, by Brisbane 2032, I reckon. Apparently it's in the Commonwealth Games with women and maybe men, I'm not sure, at least women next year. So it's Commonwealth Games as a precursor to the Olympic Games, I can assure you. Vikrant Gupta is the main person in that, correct. Yes, Arj Tech, yes. So I've seen all those programs, correct. All right, guys, ask me questions because I've talked about a lot already. You need to ask me questions because otherwise I'll be finishing up. I've been 2 hours on. I was on earlier for 3 hours. So I've had 5 hours worth of television or YouTube anyway. Smith has said that he's not available for the World Cup. He has been saying that. I'm not sure if it's been made completely official, but he has said that he wants to keep himself for the Ashes. He'll be also going to the IPL in the meantime. but the World Cup's not on his radar. So, and Warner, I don't know what he's doing. He's going, Warner, Maxwell, Smith, Stoinis are all playing IPL, and they will be partly, well, won't be available for the IPL, through the World Cup. That is, Stoinis might be, Warner might be, but Smith doesn't look like he is. Yes, that's an issue indeed. Indeed, it's an issue. We certainly have a lot of viewers for this late at night, I must say. Well, it's not even night. It's 5:30 in the morning here in Australia. All right, guys. So I'm not getting any more questions. I will go back to saying view, like, and share my post. You've got the Steve Waugh book, The Spirit of Cricket India behind me. You've got the World Test Championship caps, World Test Championship caps final, that is, from 2021. My eyes on cricket merchandise is there as well. I've got a membership level as well as the subscription level. So you must subscribe to my channel, be able to then hit the notification button. I hope I will too. I would love to. No, it won't surprise me. I've actually predicted that India will win 3-2. What about Marnus regarding World Cup? He's not really in the frame for some reason. He's playing pretty well though, but he's not in the frame. Certainly he's sticking to his Test cricket. So that's the question there. I'm definitely going to be finishing up pretty soon, guys. Oh, certainly tiring. So again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't understand why. If you're liking it and you're sticking around, please subscribe. Please subscribe and go to my Instagram and my Twitter handle. Notification buttons there to be made aware of any future games. Why is Joe Root not 220 squad? Because Owen Morgan's their captain. They're well managed. They're well played. Joe Root doesn't believe he's well. I don't know whether Joe Root doesn't believe. I think Joe Root would like to play actually, but he's not for some reason. So, good question. No, I don't think it. No, I don't agree. I don't think that's the case. No. Depends who plays. If Ben Stokes goes, they'll have a better chance. Jofra Archer's even been mentioned again. He's had some of his elbow injury, the bone scraped away, so he looks like he may be back again. So they'll be strengthened. And Mark Wood will love Australia. And Broad Anderson, depending on how they go, they'll be also looking forward to that. So no, Australia won't win 5-0. In fact, England got a chance, I would argue. Yeah, we certainly have got some pretty diabolical situations in Australia. They're going to find it very hard to play well. They won't make the final four in the World Cup unless something dramatic happens. It's going to be India, England, West Indies, and either Pakistan or New Zealand are the four teams to play off in the semi-finals. I think they'll get through. So again, make sure you view, like, and share the post. Subscribe. We've got 30 people watching. All right. If you haven't got questions, guys, I'm going to be going. So please, if you're there listening, please ask me questions because it's important for me to be able to answer and subscribe so I can further get to know who you are. Not getting asked any questions. I'll give another minute and I'll have to end the day. Yeah, Mano was a perfect replacement for Smith in the World Cup, perhaps. But he's not at the moment. Well, he didn't get. Why wasn't he in Bangladesh? Why wasn't he in the West Indies? Some of the players have stepped out. They say it's a weak Australia. So, well, they not weakened to the point where they should be losing matches so dramatically. Never been beaten by Bangladesh in T20, and Bangladesh have never beaten Australia, but now they've beaten them twice in a row. And we can't say it's the lesser side. It was bad play, bad selection, bad virtually everything. So, yep. All right, guys. I think we might have to end it there, guys. I think that's one more comment. Women who what thinks inspires you to make this channel? and give answers to questions. Inspires me because I love cricket. I'm a cricket aficionado. I love my cricket. I love talking about cricket. I love engaging people. I've got a large group of friends throughout the world in the cricketing fraternity. India are finding it tough, certainly, and I think they'll give it tough tomorrow. Well, let's see whether they're going to give it tough as such. All right, guys, I've been on for more than 2 hours. I think I'm going to have to think about heading off. Something due to horrible selection with no pure batsmen. Totally. Horrific selections. Just so inexcusable. George Bailey's there now. Clearly, that's a change. George Bailey's quite a clever man, so let's hope he's going to pick some. I'd be interested to see what he picks for the selections. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye now. I think we've done enough. So all the best to you. View, like, and share the post. Subscribe to my Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. Where am I from? I'm from Sydney, Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. I'm actually there right now. Tomorrow's weather course is very bad. Well, I don't know if it's that bad. I think it's pretty much, it's not that bad. Okay, so that's view, like, and share the post at Norm Koch, Twitter and YouTube. Not YouTube. YouTube's Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. My Twitter and my Instagram handle is at Norm Koch. I even have a LinkedIn page there as well. Please stay tuned. So this is Norman Kostek saying goodbye now. I think we've done as much as we can. All the best, guys. Talk to you soon. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got a pre-show and a post-show for all 5 days of the test. So the pre-show is on at 7 p.m. Australian time, which is 2:30 p.m. Indian time, or 10 a.m. England time, and all the rest between. Then you have a post-match. I'm saying 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., which is about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night in India, post the match in England, and obviously post the day's play around 6 p.m., 6:30, whatever time they finish. Yeah, thank you. It's very, very Santa Claus-like. All right, guys, take care.